In the midst of the late afternoon, bathed in the glow of sunset, the cheers celebrating graduation echoed in a brutal world governed by superpower hierarchies, revealing the destined glorious future of the strong like Than and Jelly. Meanwhile, the weak struggled to find their place. A lonely figure among the crowd was Quinterone, deemed useless for lacking any powers. Orphaned after a fierce battle with the Daisy Clan, the only thing his parents left him was a mysterious power book that he couldn't open. Bullied by friends and dismissed by society, Queen's future seemed to sink into despair. But on a fateful night, a drop of blood from his nose accidentally fell onto the book's cover, awakening an ancient power, a magical system. A powerful yet dangerous vampire turned his life to a completely new chapter, inviting everyone to review this fascinating world together. The story begins with a brilliant sunset hinting at a beautiful future, blending with the joyful cheers all around. Finally graduating. While people flocked to the bustling streets to party, this group gathered to voice their dissatisfaction with school, especially Ethan, who couldn't understand why everyone was so eager to enhance their superpowers in this era. Why does school still insist on exams as a topic? Olivia followed behind, saying that's basic education. Not everyone can rely on superpowers to make a living later. Our school has quite a few who can't even afford the power books, and they have to wait for the military before receiving their official powers. Liam immediately interjected, "What free power books? Those poor folks are living too well. My family spent who knows how much money to buy this and why," then arrogantly replied, "What's there to envy? Those free skills are worthless." If it weren't for the rule that all graduating students must join the military for 2 more years, they might never have a chance at superpowers, while Liam dreamily uttered some philosophical thoughts. The girls who had quietly completed their tasks were the ones to be envious of. They were born with superpowers, truly the favored ones. If it weren't for them sharing their powers, we wouldn't have had the opportunity to rely on power books to become superhumans. They had no other choice. The Daisy Clan was already at their doorstep. If they didn't step up, we would all be doomed. As they passed Olivia, she casually remarked, sending chills down her spine, and Ethan picked up the vibe. War is really scary, but I won't be going to the battlefield later. Anyone who wants to go can go. My dad has arranged everything. As long as I can enhance my strengthening ability to level 5 during my time at military school, the family business of exotic weaponry will be handed over to me. The ghost girl rolled her eyes at the chatter, her gaze fixed on Jolie. His turtle shell just appeared, causing the female students, including Ava, to collectively experience a dizzy spell. Wow, Jelly is here today. He looks even better in person than in photos. I wonder which military school he'll be assigned to. Definitely the best one. He's the only superhuman in our class to reach level 4. Emma's whisper finally reached Jelly's ears. Hey, Jelly, can I bother you for a moment? He was walking with Noah and was a bit surprised to see her in this neighborhood, but still replied, Oh, it's you. What's up? Standing in front of the handsome guy, she felt a bit shy. It's nothing. I just wanted to ask if you're free tonight. Let's go have a meal together. After thinking for a moment, he replied, I probably don't have anything special to do. Just then, they heard Queen's hurried footsteps and James's unfiltered shout, Queen Terran, stop, dare to run. The blood rushed to his head. He didn't say a word and raised his middle finger behind him. He was quite pleased to tease the two, running like mad behind him. Can you see my fingers, you trash? Lucas and James, despite being out of breath from running, still cursed like crazy in the alleys. Damn it, you're asking for it. Don't let me catch you. Before the words could settle, he shot back with a stylish retort. I'm so scared of you for running without looking. Queen zipped past and crashed into a wall of flesh. He had to win quickly to save himself, landing flat on the ground right in front of Emma and Jelly, groaning like a cat in pain. She worriedly bent down to check on him. Are you okay? He received a reaction as if she were looking at a stranger. I see 2 missiles about to crash. She panicked and stepped back, fearing she might get caught up in it. The 2 guys were wildly punching and kicking him, not forgetting to throw some taunts. Run. I told you to run, but you're still running, aren't you? Are you still planning to show me that middle finger? Go on. Let me see it. You're just lying there in pain, and I'm worried about the violence, hesitating, not knowing what to do, while you accidentally overlook the silent, scrutinizing gaze from the sidelines. He casually reached back, gathering natural energy into a glowing green sphere with his 6 muscular hands and hurled it straight at Queen, sending him flying away, much to the astonishment of the crowd, as a strange sound echoed, awakening their curiosity. The crowd's chatter was so rapid it was hard to believe, whispering, "Is something happening? Aren't we supposed to be finishing up soon? How can there still be trouble?" Then Jelly brushed past him, leaving a chilling warning. "Next time, watch where you're going." Queen painfully forced himself up, coughing once under the scornful gazes of passers-by. "Who's that black-haired guy?" "Oh, it's him again." "So boring." "Let's disperse," Veli said, leaving the scene, then curiously asked Emma, "Are you feeling sorry for him?" and received a dishonest reply from the young girl, "I just didn't see clearly who he was." The other two also stopped bothering him, but their mouths kept running. "Still going on and on, huh? Hey, you got a hit from Jerry. Normally you wouldn't even have the chance to stand next to him. It's the last day and you're still causing trouble for us. Be careful next time. Don't let us run into you on the road again." But he just tiredly thought to himself, isn't it exhausting for those people to keep competing like this every day? A long silhouette bent down to pick up a pair of glasses lying beneath the venomous spit of the crowd just moments ago. "What's wrong?" "Feels like I missed a great show, don't you see? I don't understand why that idiot dared to provoke Jelly again." "Oh, it's that guy. Isn't he quite notorious?" "Ha, what's his name again?" The teasing words rang out like an annoying song, repeating in his head, each line sharp and making the listener want to strike back. "In our class, there's someone named Queen or something like that. He still doesn't have any superpowers and just lives off allowances, a useless guy. You don't even know the guy in our class. You want to know him so badly that you'd befriend him. I think he'd be really happy about that." Ha, thanks for your kind heart, but please spare me. I'm afraid that useless guy's bad luck will rub off on me." Ha. Quinn calmly put his glasses back on and walked away. "That's right. In this era, there are no superpowers. That's the original sin then. The icy breath couldn't hide the heart that had turned to ice long ago. Don't even mention going against the Daisy Clan. Even at school, he faced discrimination. Walking through a tiny street decorated like a flower shop, he just took off his headphones when he was immediately caught by the loud, piercing voice of the radio. Today marks the 5th anniversary of the peace treaty signing. Ceasefire with the Daisy Clan. In the context of peaceful development, the situation in some areas around the world remains unstable. We call on all nations and regions to understand and support each other. Let's avoid escalating tensions again. Queen threaded through the dusty paths, his mind tangled with 100 thoughts, but on the surface, he remained calm. Tomorrow, I'll be heading to the military academy for enrollment. If I can't take control tonight, having superpowers would probably change nothing. He returned to his familiar room, looking like he had just lost a big bet, his empty eyes staring at the box lying still on the table. Covered in a layer of dust, his hand unconsciously opened it, revealing a book with a cover depicting a wide-mouthed red demon, eerie and unsettling. The Book of Powers from 6 years ago. A knock on the door sounded, and little Queen opened it to find Henry standing there with the stranger. "Excuse me, is this Queen's house?" The boy, trembling in fear at their dangerous aura, replied, "Yes, that's right." The man quickly answered to avoid wasting time, "We are the official representatives of the Special Action Team." His abrupt words struck like a knife. "I'm sorry to inform you, but your parents have sacrificed their lives in the war against the Daisy Clan. Through our investigation, we couldn't find any relatives or families willing to adopt you." A small wooden box was opened by Henry and placed on the table for him to verify. "So, until you come of age, the government will cover your tuition and living expenses. Additionally, this is the legacy your parents left behind." The dry, emotionless voice came too quickly for the young boy's mind to react. Although there were no cash assets or equivalents, this Book of Powers must hold some value. Whether he wanted to sell it or keep it would be his decision. "If there are no issues, please sign here." As soon as his hand touched the book, Queen's little heart was overwhelmed by a flood of emotions, until he grew up still tightly holding the book, silently asking Mom, "Dad, why did you both have to go to war back then? So you left me all alone with the only thing the two of you left behind, which is a power book that I can't even open." I squeezed my arm using all my strength to try to open the book, but my hands felt as weak as a Wi-Fi signal during a blackout. I could only look at the book, feeling a deep sense of frustration that no one could compare to, and still couldn't get it open. What am I supposed to do now? Maybe the only option left is to go to the military camp and get a book distributed by the government. My eyes were glued to it, my voice light and sad lingering in each word. Compared to this power book that I can't open, I would rather wish that you two had left me a photo instead, because I'm starting to forget what you both look like. Suddenly, blood soaked through the cotton ball, blocking my nose, each drop falling in accordance with the law of gravity. The shimmering drops of blood like rubies fell right into the wide-open mouth on the cover of the book, staining the precious book and making my heart tighten. I quickly pulled out a tissue, realizing I was in trouble because I had exerted too much force and my nose started bleeding again. I hurriedly wiped it away, whispering to myself that at least I could still clean it up. A red light suddenly flashed, casting a shadow on the glasses that hid my eyes, which were mixed with doubt and astonishment. With the power from the red lightning, the book automatically flew up, shocking me. The surrounding space shattered into pieces, with ancient pages and magical circles swirling around the chosen one. I was startled. The strange space was less concerning than the artifact that was revealing its layers of seals. This book has opened, and after the ritual, the pages of spells suddenly rushed straight into my brain as if commanded to rapidly impart divine knowledge. What is happening? It is invading my head. My brain felt like it was about to explode from the onslaught of bizarre knowledge trampling every nerve in my forehead. I let out a fiery scream, hot as lava, making the air thick. My scream echoed far and wide, a massive force flooding in, causing my nerves to tingle as they worked beyond their limits. Finally, when my body had absorbed the strange power, the vibrant red space suddenly fell silent. All that was left was the heavy breathing of someone tired and panting. The spiritual realm quietly dissipated, leaving me exhausted, collapsing onto the floor, my head pounding. Suddenly, a semi-real, semi-illusory notification appeared, congratulating me for receiving a blood-sucking ability. I squinted my tired eyes, unable to distinguish what the notification was displaying. What did I receive? Blood-sucking. Before my brain could process the information, my body automatically shut down, leaving me to roll over and sleep amidst the dusty scene, under the scorching sun, and the laughter of kids. A voice calling out rang out, causing the fun to come to a halt. Can I join climbing up with Owen? I looked up puzzled toward the source of the sound. Queen slowly stepped out from the shadows. I want to go with you guys too, no need to be polite. They quickly slipped away, not forgetting to finish with a few sharp words, sharper than a black mamba's venom. Stay away from us. We don't want anything to do with you. A little brat that no one taught anything worthless. The two agents from years ago who forced me to accept my parents' memorial suddenly appeared behind me. My parents have already sacrificed themselves. Quinn couldn't take it anymore. The poor boy turned around, his face scrunched up as if he was about to cry. The mouth of the mother in the memorial photo suddenly moved, pulling a strange aura that enveloped me. Quinn. A sorrowful voice echoed with a chilling atmosphere in an instant. It turned into a crude market-like style. Quinn. The scream was like a spell calling souls, eh? Quinn. It jolted me awake, back to a state of alertness. Ha, the man outside the shabby room was shouting, calling out to some thugs demanding payment. I'll count to 3. If you don't open the door, I'll break it down. 1, 2, by the time I reached 2, I hurriedly ran out to open the door. What's going on? Reeve crossed his arms, looking at the young man with a grim face. You finally decided to open the door, scared of the soldier's aura. Queen hesitated. Sorry, I fell asleep. Before my words could cool down, Reeve gritted his teeth, his irritation flaring up again. You have 2 minutes. Pack your things and get in the car. Yes, I don't want to waste another second. I took his words as a command and dashed into the room, trying to gather my old stuff as quickly as possible. Oh no. How did I sleep until morning? I remember when I just got home. I was still studying the skill book. Right, where is the skill book? Lost in thought, I accidentally bent down and felt a prick. I think I've opened it already. Then the glasses lay broken on the ground, the frame bent as if it had just gone through a life and death battle. Oh no, my glasses are broken again. It seems this time I have to get a new pair. Queen just picked up the glasses, and before I could put them back on, I felt my eyes fluttering. How strange my terrible eyesight from all these years suddenly became clear, bringing me an unbelievable joy. No more nearsightedness. Rebbe outside began to lose patience, his face darkening because I kept fumbling around. How much longer do I have to wait? I was sweating nervously, stammering, I'm almost there. Yes, yes. The guy stood firmly at the car door, spitting out a stream of complaints like a machine gun. You think this is a vacation? The suitcase rolled noisily as Queen hurried over. Sorry. Ribe was still angry, snapping, Get in the car and find a seat. Knowing I had no choice, I could only lower my head and obey. Yes, I'll see you again, Jelly. Right in the front row seat. That's Jelly with a voice as soft as flan. Sorry, can I just squeeze in a bit? And he just casually looked away, dropping a line like he was possessed, saying someone was already there. You looked around for another spot, but all you got back were sharp glares from the market ladies. What bad luck. It seemed there were no other seats left, and even though you didn't glance at him, he still radiated an unpleasant vibe. It made Queen restless. Why was there no issue from the back of the bus? Golden waved you over, just like those early-stage multi-level marketing folks. Hey, buddy, come sit here. This spot is free. But that overly friendly gesture made you hesitate to respond. Oh, thanks. In your mind, you couldn't help but think what a warm-hearted person, two strangers yet your hands found each other, kicking off a new social interaction. Hey there, I'm Golden. Hi, I'm Queen. Seeing you just staring blankly, the system demon rolled its eyes and harshly reminded you, just like before, activating a skill that you had rejected. You held Golden's hand with one hand while pointing at the empty space beside you, looking dazed like you had lost your soul. That made you hesitate a bit, causing your friend to wonder if there was something wrong with your choice of company. Strange. You awkwardly pulled your hand back, raising it to the sky in confusion, not knowing where to hide it. Sorry, what's your ability? Ignoring the system, you replied, I don't have any superpowers. Your mind wondered why you suddenly asked that. With a straight face, Golden blurted out something that made the atmosphere plummet, but it was painfully true. Oh, is that so? I've never encountered a situation like this before. The restlessness faded, leaving you with a deep sigh, feeling the echo of someone who just survived a boss fight. It seemed like people like you were quite rare. At your age, everyone must have already grasped their superpowers. On the bus, it felt like a market meeting. Sweat beaded on your forehead as the noise escalated. Shut your mouths. Do you think you're on a picnic? Do I need to remind you of the rules of the military camp right now? The group of boys fell silent, including the system demon who had just started a conversation but got cut off. The two of you could only laugh it off and then go quiet like statues. Throughout the ride, in the private silence of the bus, Queen suddenly sighed, recalling the forgotten system. That thing had been flashing in front of you earlier, related to the ability book you opened yesterday. You weren't the only one who could see it. Feeling the risk of being sidelined, the demon slowly revealed itself before you, accompanied by a bright status panel like a game interface, human status name, Queen level 01 power, 10. With a sharpness of 10 and other basic stats, your mind was still thinking about the previous day. It seemed there was still a lot of information being fed into your head, recalling the scene of being spun around like a top. In this strange realm, you felt a thrill. Could it be that this ability book had merged with you in this form? Haven't I already gained superpowers? You were lost in this treasure trove of new knowledge, forgetting that the bus was speeding through the night like a mobile coffin. What would this ability be? You fumbled with the controls, not paying attention to Golden, who was looking at you with a puzzled expression. None of these interfaces had any important information. The sky changed color, the rooster crowed, but the bus kept rolling without a hint of fatigue. The morning sunlight hit your face, making Queen feel an odd flutter in her heart. As the sun touched her skin, red lines appeared and smoke began to rise. Suddenly she felt her throat tighten, having to bend over and gasp for air without knowing why. What's happening? Before Queen could gather her thoughts, the system demon hurriedly reported an error causing her to choke. Warning, your body is being directly exposed to sunlight. Attribute status reduced by 50%. After being hit with a pain that felt like it pierced her very bones, Queen was in shock. All attributes had been halved, from life value and stamina to agility and strength, all reduced simultaneously. She witnessed each stat drop. Turning red made her feel like she was going to lose her mind. Damn it. But the burning sensation on her skin forced her to give up gritting her teeth as she pulled the curtain aside, only to be hit by a bit of sunlight. This ability is really deadly. She waited until she was isolated from the sunlight and saw her stats recover. Queen finally felt relieved. Thankfully, she could recover. Does that mean I can only operate at night from now on? Gordon, sitting beside her, looked puzzled and asked, "Hey, what's wrong with you?" Seeing her pale face, he quickly made excuses. "Oh, it's nothing. I probably just didn't sleep enough last night." He still seemed skeptical. "Drink some water. We'll be on the road for a while longer. You can take a nap." Sitting back, Queen immediately thanked him, but the sweet, cool taste hadn't even gone down her throat. The system demon chimed in again. Daily task: drink 2 sips of water, reward 5 experience points. Accompanied by the message, "Drinking water is very good." It startled her into almost spitting it out. Her unlucky friend in front immediately yelled, "Hey, hey!" "You think you're funny, yelling like that under Greaves' killer gaze?" Landis was crying without tears, stammering, No, that's not it, coach. No need for many words, just one violation, and you're on the plate." The guy barked an order, "Roll over here." He tried to stall. "No, that's not it." On one side, his friend was shocked. "Take it slow. Don't choke again." It's a shame the guy was lost in thought about that girl. Even the water system was completing its task. The more Queen looked at the mission board, the more suspicious she became. She had never heard of a book with such capabilities. Even that little symbol, is this kid a bastard? The way this world operates is that each person's supernatural power revolves around a single ability. After awakening, they must study from books to continuously enhance that ability, but the relics left by parents are so different. It left him confused while it felt like he was playing a game. Even now, he still hadn't discovered what his ability was. Currently, aside from improved vision, it seemed nothing had changed. Thinking of this, Queen suddenly called out to Golden, only to find he had fallen asleep at some point. Startled, he thought, "Wow, you fell asleep fast." After carefully observing his surroundings, he noticed something strange. How odd it seems everyone is asleep too. Before Queen could think, a thin mist began to spread. The system immediately alerted, detecting abnormal substances in the air. But strangely, as his body grew tired, his resistance to this substance kept increasing. Even more amazing was that, at the moment Rive approached, it seemed there were still a few people who could resist the enchanting gas, so they had to pay special attention to him. Falling into an illusion, Queen felt tense and silently prayed for a little strength for this kid. Sure enough, in less than 2 seconds, the guy had tightly covered his head. This sudden turn pushed the system into red alert mode. The loud alarm blared, detecting abnormal substances in the air. Your body feels tired, danger, danger. Ironically, fear accelerated the metabolic process. Finally, Queen gave in, feeling too sleepy. As darkness enveloped him, he still tried to hold on, even though his eyes couldn't open. It wasn't until someone yanked off the headscarf that the light returned. Golden, slightly confused, asked, "Wow, you really fell asleep, huh?" Quinn frowned hurriedly, rubbing her stiff neck. "Where are we?" After he stood up, his friend said, "I guess we've arrived at the military academy." "But I just woke up still unclear about the situation." Suddenly, a girl nearby exclaimed, "Oh, Layla," standing next to Aileen, smiling. The fifth person has woken up. In contrast to that confident demeanor was a cautious Peter, stammering, You guys." Suddenly, the door in the distance creaked open, cutting off the chance for a conversation that had just begun. The judge, named Sophia, exclaimed in surprise, "Oh, it seems this group is all awake now. We can start the test." The idol slowly injected a psychological backup. "Don't worry, this is a supernatural ability test before entering the academy. Those called Step Forward." Then he raised his voice. "The first person?" Peter Jack startled the guy, making him tremble, while Queen bowed his head in self-reflection. "I just got here and have to take a test. I still don't even know what my ability is." Seemingly understanding his feelings, the girl quickly reassured him. "Don't worry, kid." "What is your ability?" He received an unexpected answer. I don't have any ability." This was even beyond Layla's basic understanding. Wow, is there really someone without any ability? But Golden was much more optimistic, so what, it's still early to awaken. Only Queen breathed a sigh of relief, realizing there were others like her in the same batch. The 6 syllables earlier had nearly drained the guy's strength, but the judge still enthusiastically supported him. "It's okay, Peter, come here. Take this, you can receive a superpower right now." Peter's cheeks flushed with excitement as he tightly grasped the gift. "Is this really a free gift for me?" The other party immediately assured him, "Of course. Currently, I temporarily assess you as a level 1 ability user. When you have time, read this book carefully." As soon as the result was finalized, the device he wore displayed instructions. Once he learned how to use it, he could participate in the retest. Peter hurriedly thanked him, and seeing that Queen suddenly realized, "Oh, a bracelet. When do I wear this?" The girl quickly laughed, spreading knowledge. "Don't look anymore, everyone has one. I heard that all our information is in there. It serves as both an access card and a way to buy snacks." Golden took the chance to show off. Hey, you see how convenient this is, right? Unfortunately, before you could digest that, the judge shouted, "Next." Queen hurriedly exclaimed, "Oh," but little did anyone know her heart was in turmoil. Sophia always maintained her politeness. "Queen, what's your ability?" Even though her mind was puzzled, she clearly had my file in hand and still had to ask. I don't have any abilities," replied the cautious Queen, like an idol sticking to old habits. Handing over the book, she said, "Well, you take this." However, the bright green system suddenly announced, "You cannot learn this ability. Would you like to exchange the book for 10 experience points?" Pushing Quinn into a tough spot, she hesitated. Each person could only awaken one ability. If I couldn't learn a new one, maybe I really did have an ability already. And in that moment of hesitation, it made complete sense. But could this ability book really be exchanged for experience points? She sighed. As much as she wanted to try, she feared that doing so would lead to endless questions. Seeing the other person silent, she decided, "Next." Queen slowly reached out. "Your attitude is quite strange." Sophia frowned and asked, "Are you sure you don't want it?" "This ability book is a free gift." She unleashed her final move. "If you miss this chance, you'll have to find a way on your own." Yet Queen remained resolute. "Yes, I understand. I'll handle it myself." Seeing her determination, Sophia glanced at Eden and quietly said, "Please wait a moment." She hurried off to discuss with her superior about an unusual situation. A student named Queen didn't want to receive the ability book. The person on the other end was immediately shocked. "Is he a pureblood?" But the answer was quite different. "I'm afraid not. The file doesn't indicate he has any special abilities. He also isn't equipped with any beast weapons." Yes, the preliminary information led the other party to conclude, "Mistake, let him take a potential test. If he's just an ordinary person, let him fend for himself. This world is harsh. Sooner or later, it will teach him a lesson." She quickly replied, "Yes," and received approval from her superior. Another portal immediately opened. Sophia politely announced, "Sorry to keep you waiting. Since you don't want to receive the ability book, we will proceed with a direct test." Queen felt a bit doubtful. Outside, alongside the wondrous scenery, is a challenge. Destroy 3 targets as quickly as possible. In an instant, a series of robots appeared ready for battle. However, she couldn't feel happy at all. Not only did she feel very tired, but her vision was also blurry. Was it because she was under the sun? The blazing sun was like a burning flame, and Queen felt like a sweet snack. Every fiber of her being urged her to run now. In this urgent situation, she decisively dashed forward, thinking there was no other way. "I have to take the risk." Sophia meticulously observed and assessed her strength. 5 points. This miraculous number shocked her. Too weak. The battle she was in suddenly changed. The robot with its ghostly structure was supposed to block the attack, but twisted to reveal a dark barrel. Still, Queen charged in, disregarding the danger, ignoring her scratched skin. She only wanted to escape the sun, but no matter how fast she went, her agility was still just 5 points. A boring challenge officially concluded. Her physical test equated to someone with level 1 abilities. "Queen, you can go home now." Based on her observations, she calculated the judge's score. It was similar to the system display. If she upgraded her stats in the system, perhaps her physical strength would also improve. However, the urgent matter was the glaring red alert. "Your body is being directly exposed to sunlight. Your attributes are reduced by 50%. This made her even more determined. Being affected by the sun like this was truly uncomfortable. Despite feeling exhausted, the assessment continued. "Next, Layla Mulo, it's my turn." At this point, Golden played the gentleman. "Don't be discouraged. You have 2 more years to improve." "Yes." Queen quickly reached out to accept it, thanking him and sighing in relief as she escaped into the shade. It felt much better now. Yes, the preliminary investigation. One question, one answer quickly caught Layla's attention. "What is your ability?" "It's the power of thought," she replied, "and I can start testing it now." The guy suddenly woke up amazed to discover she had superhuman strength. "I thought you were from the Pureblood faction." Quinn immediately exclaimed, "The Pureblood faction." Curious Golden explained, "The Pureblood faction refers to a group of people who firmly oppose superhuman powers. They believe that everyone's pursuit of power is misguided. Superhuman abilities are a distorted value. They argue and they even believe that solely trusting in superhuman powers is the root cause of societal division. They focus on developing weaponry and training their physical strength to the extreme, using ordinary bodies to fight against the tribe." The two continued to watch Layla fight intently while chatting. "That's funny," he pointed out. "So that's how it is." "That's why I thought she used a bone bow and arrow. I assumed she belonged to the Pureblood faction, right?" However, she ended the match with a powerful kick, officially stopping the test. Layla Mulo level 2 ability. This result shocked her. Level 2? How could that be? The teachers at school all rated you as level 3. Sophia quickly explained, "In terms of using the bow and arrow, you've truly reached level 3, but one target was destroyed without being measured. The average force is 8, so it can only be rated as level 2. There will be many more opportunities for testing later, so don't worry too much about this result." The next person, Aylin Haile, ignored Layla, who was pouting a bit. Hearing the familiar name Golden, immediately perked up and patted the guy on the shoulder. "Hey, it's you. Looks like I'm lucky to be the last one, ha." Unexpectedly, she suddenly frowned and snapped, "Get your hand off me!" Unfortunately, the guy felt like he lost a few nerve fibers. "Don't be too tense." The girl's voice gradually became deeper. "I think in less than a second your hand has been frozen stiff." He stared at it in shock. After finishing up, Aylin warned, "Next time, if you raise your hand without permission." "It won't just stop there." Oddly enough, Golden was still cheering, realizing her ice ability explained her cold demeanor. "I almost lost my hand." The familiar question and answer session resumed. Aylin Haile ice ability right. "We can start the test now." Indeed, just now, he wasn't joking. "Heh, I guessed right. She's quite formidable." That evaluation was just a warning from Queen. You shouldn't touch others without permission. She looked like someone you wouldn't want to provoke. In front of the crowd, the opponent was so thick-skinned, shouting loudly enough for everyone to hear. "I'm not afraid." It was refreshing to have a match with her, but to be honest, I'm not the type to flatter anyone just because they're pretty. The observation was completely accurate. In an instant, she used ice to control everything. Sophia seemed happy, and the test concluded. Aylin Haile is rated as a level 5 ability. You're the third among all the students today to reach level 5. Peter immediately exclaimed, "Incredible level 5 ability Queen is no different, right? Previously, our school only had a maximum of level 4. As for Layla, what's so impressive about that? I'll surpass her soon." Suddenly, the judge interrupted his thoughts. "Next, Golden." However, this was very valuable. He eagerly clasped his hands ready. "Finally, it's my turn." Looking at the scene before him, both Queen and Aylin were wide-eyed in amazement simply because of the technique. Golden's move was identical to Aylin's. Sophia smiled with satisfaction. "Looks like we're lucky." After showcasing his level 5 ability, Golden turned to boast to his friend. Hey, what do you think?" Not disappointing his opponent, Queen admired, "Incredible. Can you really do that?" Copying abilities by touching someone else. But these words made him pause for a moment, a bit surprised and confused. "Maybe you haven't read the lesson, so you don't know my ability." Yet he was seen through immediately. "I was planning to pretend a little longer." "How did you figure it out?" "With perfect vision and an analytical mind like grass." He slowly explained, "Do you remember when we shook hands?" "You seem a bit surprised. That's because you can't copy my ability right. Moreover, earlier when Aylin froze your hand, it was clear that you weren't familiar with ice abilities. In the end, you concluded that there was only one possibility." I don't know if Golden did it intentionally or not, but he was both hitting and rubbing. It's surprising that even though you don't have superhuman strength, you're quite perceptive. Queen also didn't like to show off, so she modestly replied, "Haha, I just happened to notice." But inside, he was feeling as tangled as a ball of yarn. Is it true that my body automatically defended itself against the ability back then? "So what's your ability?" Aylin is a bit curious about this handsome guy, so she approaches him to find out. You're a primordial power user, right? For those who don't know, primordial power users are individuals who are born with extraordinary abilities. Legend has it that all the supernatural powers recorded in the ability books today come from them. You suddenly have a hunch. Right, Golden. Meanwhile, the other guy is busy flirting. Guess what? If you guess right, there's a reward. But all he gets is a dismissive pout, boring. Not long after, Sophia points to the next compartment and announces that the test is over. Now you can head to the military academy. Peter cheers. Oh, that's great. She continues to instruct that the books can be placed in the compartment along with the luggage, and a dedicated teacher will receive them. In the blink of an eye, they've been transported to another place, and the scenery outside leaves the guy in awe. Wow, is this the military academy? It looks like a bustling city. Queen feels like her horizons have expanded. It's so grand. A few seconds later, the transport compartment lands, and everyone gathers in one spot. Suddenly, a guy walks past her and Peter. Oh, I see you here. The handsome guy casually asks, "What a coincidence. How did your test go?" Jack immediately replies, "I'm level 5. What about you?" But when it's his turn, he hesitates. I'm level 3. He doesn't have a shred of subtlety. Not paying attention to that awkwardness, he excitedly invites. That's impressive. Let's take a stroll, shall we? Obviously, the other person just gives a half-hearted response. We'll see later. The two others accidentally eavesdrop and can only sigh quietly. Character levels are calculated using the formula level times 2. The lowest level students are level 1. Suddenly, the atmosphere becomes lively as prominent figures appear. Caleb suddenly becomes friendly and strikes up a conversation. Is this fate? Do you remember me? They used to attend the same school, but he only remembers seeing the guy in a fancy outfit. He replies indifferently. Oh, really? Hey, Elin. Someone behind him is also being followed by others. Really? No way. Look for yourself, that's him. He shamelessly approaches to make a connection. What a coincidence. It's rare to have fate like this. Later, I'll treat you to a meal, but he's so used to this type of person that he bluntly declines. Sorry, I don't have time. On the other side, a group of girls surrounds him. Hi, I'm Mary level 3. Can we be friends? Another girl chimes in. Me too. I'm also level 3. But are you really level 5? Here, I've never seen anyone at level 5 before. Hearing this impressive number, everyone starts to chatter. Level 5. Who's level 5? I'm level 4, be friends with me. Move aside if you're only level 3. Don't get involved. Peter finally speaks up. Looks like everyone wants to be friends with those at higher levels. Queen agrees. True, this place is no different from the outside world. Just then, Logan walks over with a box of tickets. Everyone quiet down. Boys and girls, please line up separately. He then holds it out and reminds them to come up one by one to draw dormitory numbers. Whoever gets a number can take their luggage to their room. Where's that guy with the loud voice? He looks around and asks, where's Golden? We've been together all this time. How would I know I didn't notice? He might be getting bothered by someone else. After all, he's a level 5. Someone from the box pulls out a ball with the number 23. William mumbles, my number is 23. I wonder who I'll be paired with, but immediately there's an answer. Peter shouts from behind, hey, I'm also 23. He keeps looking down at the ball and then at Peter, not knowing what to think, and points at Queen asking, what's your number? Although a bit puzzled, she casually replies, I'm number 12, why? He doesn't hesitate to pass this unlucky number to her. Well, you're lucky then. Let's switch places. You two will get along great. Before she can say, wait a minute, she sees the other person slip away, and Peter feels dejected. Yeah, no one wants to be with someone like me. Sorry for bothering you. But Queen comforts him. What's the big deal? I'm only level 1 too. Don't be discouraged. Life at the military academy has just begun. We'll become stronger together. He slumps down on the floor, looking like he just lost his rice ration. But suddenly, a familiar voice rang out to see who was sharing dorm room number 23 with me. You quickly spoke up. I just got here. He smiled brightly upon seeing that person. What a coincidence. Golden. He also smiled refreshingly, throwing an arm around them. That's right. I can't believe we have such fate. Let's live well together for the next 2 years. Big win. Peter seems to have found his destiny. The two of them didn't mind me at all, which was really great. Hoo-hoo, so touching. At that moment, a loud voice echoed through the lobby. What, your dorm room is taken? Daniel sighed and complained. Yeah, it's like a disaster falling from the sky. He frowned in annoyance. What kind of person is so brazen? Let's go find him together. I'll help you get it back. But my friend advised against it. Forget it. If I run into him, I'll just have to admit I'm unlucky. Not just unlucky, I added, because that guy is a level 5 ability user. Oh, surprised, yet turns out the person they were talking about is Golden in the dorm room. Everything was tidy and brand new. Golden was arranging his things while inviting, "We have some free time left. Let's go for a walk together later." Wanting to improve my skills, Peter had to decline. "Sorry, I'm not going anywhere until I finish unpacking. I want to study the ability books first." "Yeah, I get that." He turned to the other person. "What about you?" Quinn immediately agreed. "Yeah, I want to go to the library to check it out, because I have some things to sort out. I need to clarify my ability situation quickly. I hope the library has related materials." Hearing that, he smiled with delight. "Let's go together." "Hey, I haven't read in a while. It's about time I study hard." The library was divided into 2 floors filled with books everywhere. After picking out some, the 2 of them entered the reading room, and seeing the number of people in front of them made Queen feel overwhelmed. But she still had to keep her voice low. "Wow, there are so many people." You suddenly notice something. Huh, why are they just moving their mouths but not making any sound? As if understanding your feelings. Golden pointed to a glowing orb on the table. "Let me explain. Did you go to a public school before? Public schools probably don't have this equipment." He demonstrated, "Just touch this device and you can create a soundproof space like this. People inside can talk freely without bothering others." The beautiful light made you exclaim, "Wow, I've never seen anything like this before. Has technology developed to this level now?" After settling in, you finally had the chance to be curious about the stack of books piled on the table. "What materials are you looking for that you took so many books?" Quien made up a reason. "Oh, this. It's not that I don't want to take the free ability book from the school, but I want to find out what superpowers are available now. Who knows, I might find something that suits me better." This answer pleased him greatly. "Oh, is that so? I thought you wanted to become a pureblood member. Turns out you just don't want to become a military hound." Huh. Ha. This new phrase was something he had never heard before. Military hound. At this moment, Golden was surprised. "Oh, so you didn't know?" You can't really believe the military is generous enough to give out ability books for free to everyone, right? He spoke seriously, revealing a shocking truth. These people will have to follow the military's arrangements later. To put it lightly, they are just pawns, nothing more. Hearing this, Queen's expression suddenly darkened. "Is that so?" The happy face of her friend Peter appeared in her mind when he received the ability book and was so joyful. Does he know about this? You took the opportunity to ask more. By the way, Golden, have you heard of any abilities that weaken in sunlight? The person opposite you looked stiff, then burst into laughter. Ha! How can there be such an ability? Some people may look weak because they can't control their powers, or their abilities are too weak but to weaken just because of sunlight. We are humans, not vampires. You could only helplessly laugh along. Yeah, ha. The weather outside was beautiful, the sunlight gentle and a light breeze, while inside the library it remained quiet as before. Perfect for someone wanting to nap. Quien closed the last book, secretly lamenting that indeed none of these books recorded cases like hers. She looked up at the bookshelf on the second floor. Perfect for those who want to snore away, closing the last book. Quinn sighed, realizing that none of these books mentioned a case like hers as she looked up at the bookshelf on the second floor. I'm determined to go up there and keep searching. You found a book and tried reading it, but then you closed it in disappointment with a sigh. A story about a red dragon turning into a human was quite interesting, but it didn't have any useful information at all. This must be a fantasy novel. Dragons and vampires are just mythical creatures. It's almost dinner time. I'll read one more book before heading back. Oh, this new book contains quite a bit of information about vampires who drink human blood and turn into bats using magic. Turns out these are all characteristics of vampires. There are even vampires skilled in swordsmanship and hypnosis. It seems that vampires have a clear and systematic classification. As I placed it back on the shelf, I mumbled to myself, that sounds a lot like me. The only weakness is being weakened by sunlight, which is the same. Just as I finished speaking, the familiar sound of the notification system echoed. You have gained a better understanding of the system. Experience points plus 10. Current experience 15 out of 100. Looking at the notification, I jumped in surprise, confused, staring back at the book. My gaze gradually became vacant. No way could my awakened ability really be. At this age, it's the first time I've encountered such a bizarre ability. Is it the vampire power? Time has passed. It's now late afternoon. Golden hour finally ended my dreamy reading session. I lazily stretched and looked around, but I couldn't find Queen anywhere. At this hour, could she have left before me? Then I stood up and headed home, not forgetting to grumble, how boring. Why didn't she wake me up? Little did I know the person I was waiting for was struggling with a pile of documents on the second floor. Crazy, really crazy. The more I read, the more I confirmed it. It seems to be true. Books are indeed treasures. They not only bring knowledge, but also experience points. The system notification popped up. You have gained a clear understanding of the system. A side quest has been unlocked. Confirm. I was so astonished that my face went blank. I was rooted to the spot staring at the system notification. It was only slightly less shocking than the French colonists. Looking at its face and the words, blood-sucking mission, this optional quest made me. Queen panicked 10 times more, thinking I had to go suck someone's blood for real. Despite the warning sound, Queen still hoped that the vampire legends were based on the idea of sucking blood to survive, but the system hadn't forced her to do that yet. She hugged the bright red board, sighing in frustration. Your body is currently exposed to direct sunlight. Status attribute 50%. Let it decrease. I'm not even fighting, so why worry? In her mind, there was only one guess left. Completing this mission might yield a special reward, but to find out, I must suck someone's blood. Even though I was exhausted, my mind was still spinning, and as for the daily quests, they basically offered no experience. At least at this stage, with the vampire trait, it seemed to bother me more. Whether it was scorching sun or twilight, as long as light shone on me, I would grow weaker. My status was still at level 1. All stats were at basic levels. Human race 15 out of 100, experience, strength, speed, and stamina were all 5. The only good news was that my vitality was full. Queen began tapping her abacus. If I only did daily quests, it would take 3 weeks to level up. Slow, yes, but sooner or later, I would level up. Oh, I wonder if anything changes when I level up. Suddenly, a scream echoed ahead, pulling me out of my thoughts. I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to bump into you. I was about to slip away, but it was too tight. A voice sounded familiar. Wasn't that Peter? Like a raging bull, he punched and kicked, not forgetting to add emotional damage. You think saying sorry is enough. If apologies worked, why would we need the police? Peter could only scream and lie still, clearly showing he was only at level 2. Yet he acted like a final boss, hitting my book like it was a chick. Then I yelled, so how do you plan to compensate me? The moment those 2 words left my mouth, Peter felt like he was being hit. It would have been better. But I don't have much money. He gritted his teeth and hissed. Damn it! Do you not understand human language? You want to get hit right. Quinn looked at this scene and couldn't help but scoff. How can someone be so arrogant at just middle school? People like this only dare to bully those weaker than themselves. It's disgusting. As the distance in the hallway shrank, he quickly came up with a scenario even more cliché than an Indian movie in an incredibly fake way. Quinn elbowed Ki in the back and started to act. Oh no, I tripped! He cried out in pain, ouch! His mouth twisted from the impact, sending him flying about 7 feet before he managed to stabilize himself. Screaming like a madman, can't you watch where you're going? Queen, with a thick face, pretended to take all the blame. Sorry, I have a habit of tripping even on flat ground. Peter was left speechless, his mouth agape. Wait, Queen, what a way to evaluate your prey, just diving headfirst into the trap. Quickly regaining confidence, he thought, wow, what's up with today? Running into trash everywhere. If you don't want to suffer, the best thing is to just pay me back. Quinn feigned exasperation, but his smile was sly. The smirk on his lips showed the opposite. I just got to school, and I thought it would take at least a few more days to meet someone like you, a bully who preys on the weak. Didn't expect you to show up so soon. Kai was fumbling behind him, smirking. Oh, so what are you planning to do? Just as he was getting into the act, the system announced that an opponent had been detected. Activate skill. Confirm to enter battle mode. Queen was a bit startled, but since the opponent had already engaged, he didn't mind entering battle mode. Do I really have to fight this guy? It was just the moment he wanted to test how far he could go in a real fight. The system was just a board that was more pumped up than its owner. As soon as he had the intention, the system updated with a new mission. First battle, defeat your opponent. Reward 50 experience points. Queen's eyes sparkled. It was like finding a hidden treasure. Quinn also had a reward of 50 experience points. If he won, leveling up was right in front of him. He opened his mouth to provoke. If you want to fight, I'll play to the end, coward. Peter softly called out his name to remind him, while Quinn cursed under his breath. 18 generations of your ancestors. Is he crazy? Why would he choose that guy as his opponent? CAI had been holding back and was already boiling with anger. Without hesitation, he flaunted his brand new wild gear. Are you tired of living? The unique design made Queen gasp, but he bravely raised his hand to block the opponent's claws. Unfortunately, free wasn't his style, so he retaliated with a punch that caught him off guard, making him yelp and slide back. Kai was startled, wondering how this kid had such great strength. It didn't resemble level 1 at all. Could it be that his strength had reached level 2? But in other aspects, he was still lacking. It wasn't just him. Queen was also nursing his wounds, calculating that it turned out to be a chance for close combat transformation. Last time, that girl's strength was only 8 points, and she was already rated level 2. His memory flashed back to when Layla participated in the test. As long as he wasn't in the sunlight, all his stats were 10 points. He should at least be at level 2. Even in a one-on-one fight, he might not lose. Both took a break. After sketching out the strategy, they charged at each other, determined to go all out. However, the speed difference allowed CAI to gain the upper hand. Before Queen could do anything, he took a full swipe. He confirmed his guess and grinned widely. Ah, indeed. He didn't mind celebrating inside. This kid's agility wasn't enough. Quinn screamed in pain as he was attacked, continuously feeling like he was possessed. While being clawed, he didn't forget to hear the insults. You're just trash. Peter, seeing his friend getting beaten up badly, screamed, Queen, that little brat. The system looked at him, gritting his teeth to endure, also feeling anxious. A bright red notification board appeared. You are continuously losing health. Health is 3 out of 5. Vitality, -1. Of course he had his reasons. Even though he was about to be served on a platter, he still focused his energy on the sunset, which was about to set. He could wait for the night, but Kai wasn't going to wait with him. He immediately jumped in with a big move. Die. The status alert continuously reported vitality, -1, making the system feel like ants on a hot pan. When his vitality was down to 1 out of 5, 3 danger alerts flashed like disco lights. Peter saw the big explosion in front of him and screamed again. Queen, the sun finally decided to clock out. The sky is now only left with a pale golden light. Queen strained, feeling like his belt was about to snap. Finally, he waited for the moment to unleash. He gasped for breath and watched the notification as his status was recovering. He looked at his arm, easily subdued. He stuttered, How could it be? Inside, he was screaming madly. With its speed, how could it dodge my attack? Moreover, this power. He unexpectedly burst forth with a fierce aura, swinging his arm to unleash a chaotic strike, not forgetting to remind himself. Now it's my turn. This guy was so scared he might drop his jaw. He immediately changed his attitude. Wait, I think we can negotiate a bit. When the status showed, vitality had recovered to 6 out of 10. So, Queen confidently delivered a powerful punch to CII's stomach, a clear rejection that left him gasping in pain, only able to cough once before spitting blood successfully, reclaiming the fresh blood that had been wasted earlier. Now, Peter was in a daze. Watching the battle shift 180 degrees, the good friend transformed from prey into a lone hunter, treating CII like a punching bag as he pounded away. He stared wide-eyed, losing his ability to speak, only able to wonder internally. How is it possible? Does Quinn really not have superhuman strength? The one said to have exceptional abilities finally ended the torment of his opponent, letting go of Kai's limp body that fell to the ground. Queen looked down with satisfaction at her hand, which was now pulsing with energy. Despite the injuries, she laughed with delight. This was the power of a vampire. The system's stealth mode had finally jumped out, even though she was still at level 1. Quinn watched as the number 15 changed to 65 out of 100 for experience points. Then it was stunned, realizing that she understood the situation, and laughed, presenting the next notification. Congratulations, host. You have completed a new mission, earning 50 experience points, and as an additional reward, you have unlocked Level 1 survey skill. But while she still had to silently confirm unlocking the skill, the system suddenly vanished without saying another word, leaving only a message that the battle mode had been deactivated. Then it disappeared. Bitter looked at Kai, who had passed out in front of him, and worriedly asked Queen, "He's not dead, is he?" She replied confidently, "Don't worry, I'm not that skilled. I just want to make sure that guy won't cause any more trouble. He got a sedative shot and then sighed in relief, making me jump. You actually went straight into a fight with a level 2 Quinler." She looked at Peter, and a bold idea flashed in her mind. Could the survey skill allow me to see others' weaknesses? Eso. Let's see. As he turned back, reminding her that her hand was bleeding and needed to go to the medical room to get it treated, she focused on her opponent's face and opened the survey skill circle, returning 4 basic pieces of information. Peter life value 3 out of 5. Human race blood type A, no abilities. And Queen continued to scan over the name lying sprawled on the ground. Kai, life value 1 out of 8. Human race blood type transformation ability. She silently noted that there seemed to be some hidden information. Perhaps a higher level was needed to see it. But even just knowing the blood type was indeed a very convenient ability for a vampire. Her thoughts continued to race like a runaway horse, startling her as she realized she didn't know the different tastes of various blood types. Is there a difference? What am I thinking? This is crazy, it's blood. But when Queen caught the keyword blood, she suddenly stopped, her eyes wide with shock. Peter, seeing her dazed expression, shook her and called out, "Queen, are you okay?" "I think we should leave here quickly." "Before someone else notices," she replied mechanically, sounding a bit foolish. "Oh, I'm fine," she said, lingering a moment longer, looking at the unconscious CAI before finally shuffling after him. "You're right, let's go." But the bloodstains on the floor seemed like a kind of spell, radiating a dazzling color that beckoned her to return. Though her feet kept moving, her gaze couldn't tear away from the enchanting red temptation. Meanwhile, Peter beside her kept nagging, "Are you really okay with your wounds? At least you should go stop the bleeding and disinfect a bit." She lowered her head and replied evasively, "It's nothing, just some surface wounds." "The bleeding has stopped," she said, and just as she finished speaking, the change on her arm made her gasp in surprise. He turned to ask, "What's wrong?" Instinctively, she covered her hand and replied vaguely, "It's nothing. I think I should go to the medical room. It would be troublesome if I got an infection. You go back first. I'll be there soon." "Okay." Peter showed concern like a mother. "Let me go with you. I think I should still go to the infirmary. If I get an infection, it would be a hassle. You go back to the room first. I'll be back soon." "Yeah, Peter is acting all worried like a mother. Let me go with you." Quinn hurriedly declined. "No need, I can go by myself." "Can you help me check if Golden has come back yet? We got separated." "I'm afraid he might worry if he hears that he won't be stubborn anymore." "All right, that works." After successfully separating you, sneak over to a quiet area in the school, watching your wound heal at a visible speed. You can't help but sigh. It's really healed completely. A system suddenly appears checking your life status, 10 out of 10. Your vitality has been restored and your hunger has increased. After reading the warning, you rub your stomach, realizing you're feeling a bit hungry. It seems this system can heal my wounds through food. You look around in a panic, searching for something to eat. There must be a place selling food nearby. After wandering for a while, you finally find a 24-hour vending machine at the training school entrance and cheerfully exclaim, "Found it!" In the simulation training room, a barrage of sharp arrows pierces through the heads of the combat robots, causing them to fall one by one. Despite your body being drenched in sweat, you drink some water and tell yourself, I'm in pretty good shape. Let's stop here for today." Standing in a hidden corner behind the door, Queen accidentally glances at her. She softly hums, wondering about the person. She looks at the dazed guy who's looking around. Long, isn't it strange? Isn't he supposed to be powerless? Why did he come to the training school? He must want to test his strength again. To answer Layla, you stand in front of the training robot, straightforwardly take off your jacket, ready to start testing at normal difficulty. As soon as you finish speaking, Queen lets go, allowing the jacket to fall freely. She watches this scene with a bit of anticipation. Looks like he's not satisfied with the results of the daytime test. He's quite ambitious, isn't he? Let me see how far you can go. As a result, you don't say a word and use your fists to knock down each robot successfully, upgrading your strength by 10 points. Layla is shocked into silence, constantly denying in her mind, how is this possible? Isn't he only level 1? But while Queen is stomping her foot on the ground preparing to launch an attack, her chain of doubts doesn't stop. Moreover, not only strength, but also agility, the other two robots sense danger. They simultaneously turn their heads towards Queen, but you don't make them wait long. You immediately leap high, executing a split kick that takes down both at once, hitting the target. The test ends with a sharp score of 10. She watches the jacket just in time land on the floor. She's so shocked, she can't even speak. It's surprising that he could eliminate all targets before the jacket hit the ground. Layla grips the towel, her face pale, devoid of blood, constantly questioning herself. He's intentionally hiding his strength, isn't he? But why? Right in front of the Academy's dining hall, many students are flocking in, all eager to grab a spot to fill their hungry bellies. Samuel is carrying a tray of food, scanning for an empty table. Hey, there's a spot over here. Hobie glances at the table nearby and quickly walks over. I wonder if anyone has touched it. With such a messy way of throwing things around, they must be really relaxed. Yeah. The two of them are extremely annoyed, but feel helpless because if they touch it, they'll end up with nothing. So they grumble and head outside. Those guys inside are really scary, but since they're high-ranking, they can be arrogant. It's best to avoid trouble. Peter, dining nearby, turns on the gossip switch and then looks at his senior, clearly worried. Is Golden sitting with us? Is he okay? The high-ranking people are all seated in the restaurant. Only low-ranking folks like us have to sit outside. Yes, Quinn calmly takes a sip of water, feeling sad for their low status. But I have to agree. That's right, you don't need to be with us. You should socialize with people of your own rank. Golden doesn't care at all. He basically disregards that hierarchy. That rank doesn't mean anything to him. Don't talk nonsense. I hate that stupid hierarchical mindset. We're friends. Then he chuckles, feeling pleased, as if he just spoke a truth. So just relax and eat. Right now, there's nothing more important than filling our stomachs. Ha ha. Meanwhile, Layla is observing them from behind. The words he just said reached her ears without missing a beat. However, Layla remains silent, seemingly calculating something. In a different scene in the theory classroom, the flickering electric lights cast down on the lecture hall. Logan passionately lectures, deeply invested in today's content. He can say that without the selfless sharing of those with innate abilities, a new social structure of the world cannot be formed. Nowadays, we can temporarily live in peace, but no one knows when war will break out. That's the meaning of your coming to study at the military academy. Here, you need to strive to enhance your strength. Only rank can prove your worth. However, the students below, some are sound asleep, while others let their minds drift with the clouds. Quinn glances at her senior Golden, internally sighing. Golden's ability is truly convenient. He can directly copy high-level powers. The more he observed, the more curiosity stirred within him. But could he really replicate that ability? Maybe he could upgrade himself. Let's use the surveying skill to see if there's anything to discover. He said it and activated the skill on the person sitting in front of the information board, and immediately the stats appeared, but the last 3 stats were completely hidden, which was strange. Could it be that they couldn't be displayed? Unable to hold back, he asked, startling the guy awake. Golden, can you not use Elan's ability anymore? Golden leaned in close and whispered, Oh, you figured it out. He really was sharp. Let me tell you a little secret. Actually, my copying ability resets every day, so unless I touch Eileen again, I won't be able to copy her ability. Hearing that, it didn't sound too promising. He quickly assessed the situation in his mind. Sure enough, those seemingly convenient abilities all come with usage restrictions. On the surface, he pretended to be kind and advised, Well then, I suggest you don't do that. Eileen isn't someone you can mess with. Golden yawned widely, covering his mouth. Thanks for your concern. If you and Peter had abilities for me, that would be great. I still don't know whose ability I'll copy next. Queen just smiled awkwardly and said, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. As soon as he finished speaking, his stomach growled loudly. The guy looked at him utterly shocked. Aren't you full yet? You just ate enough for 2 people. As for Queen, if there had been a hole nearby, he would have crawled in to avoid the embarrassment. Haha, maybe I just digested a bit too quickly. The system displayed a red alert warning. His feeling of hunger had increased. He read while sweating, feeling that in the near future he would definitely suffer from gastritis. How could it escalate so quickly? Hungry again. If this keeps up, food expenses will definitely add up. After a while, the theory class ended, and the three of them tiredly walked down the stairs. Golden wanted to deal with his sadness, so he took a different direction. You two go ahead. I'll just use the restroom for a bit, and then catch up with Queen. He quickly replied, all right, let's meet at the convenience store later. But while both of them were leisurely walking down, they ran into a group of other students who were chattering excitedly, three of them making so much noise it felt like the academy would crack. Veli said, we have to give 50 points before the weekend. Is there any other way? If we don't want to get scolded, we have no choice but to hand it over. What do you think? He said, visibly frustrated. Damn it, I'll give it, but once I reach its level, I'm definitely taking back double A. Suddenly, Keely looked up and immediately recognized someone familiar. Peter was startled, stammering, isn't that the guy from yesterday? This time, he even had backup. Oh, how coincidental, N sneered, teasing. Running into those two here, they're quite famous. Julian, standing beside, chimed in. If you don't poke fun, life won't respect you. In 5 years, they're the only two without superpowers. They really are the biggest losers. It truly opened my eyes. However, they had no idea that Kelly was sweating profusely, terrified of being exposed. Peter was in a panic, whispering to Queen beside him, do you think he brought someone to get back at us? He, on the other hand, was completely confident, knowing he had Kelly in a tight spot. If others found out about yesterday, he would be the one bullied. A moment later, the two sides officially faced off. Connor immediately blocked their way and got straight to the point. Wait a minute, may I ask what's going on? Can each of you lend us 10 points? Can each of you lend us 10 points? We're really in need of Julian to flash that arrogant smile of his. We know you guys don't have much, so we totally understand just lending each of you 10 points will be enough. That should be manageable, right? But this guy is so scared he can barely speak. 10 points is basically my entire monthly living expenses. In total, that's just enough to exchange for that much. Queen behind us switched to boss mode, questioning whether I knew you guys. Why should I give anything to you two? You're still trying to intimidate us. I said it's a loan. Do you get that? Come on, I'm speaking nicely, and you still won't listen. Killy behind us was drenched in sweat, looking like he was suffering from chronic constipation, worried that the mouths of those two would stretch too wide. He quickly spoke up, wanting to back out. Forget it, I just realized it might be enough. All right, let's go then. In the meantime, a challenging voice rang out. I've got plenty of points here. Why don't you borrow from me? It turned out to be Golden, laughing with delight, teasing us. I can lend you guys some, but the interest is pretty high. Are you sure you want to? The whole group, including Keely, looked terrified, wanting to drop their pants and run away, their pitiful expressions showing. All right, thanks for the kind offer, ha. So you guys are friends, huh? It's truly a misunderstanding. We'll take our leave now. But Golden had caught them. Now there's no escaping. Don't rush off, let's keep talking a bit. He was about to teach these thugs a lesson when another voice chimed in. Who's messing with my underlings? You're stepping on someone else's crew, huh? Upon seeing the figures of two handsome seniors in front, everyone cheered. Great, we're saved. It was Jelly and Mark. Queen observed for a moment and instinctively stepped back, showing caution. The dangerous aura was too strong. Then he used his scanning skill on the opponents, but there was no result. He kept his eyes on Mark. Confusion filled his heart. Can't I recognize them? Is my skill still not enough to use on higher-level people? A second later, he glanced down at the level indicator on the guy and panicked. The other guy was level 6. The atmosphere around them seemed to freeze. Both sides stood dumbfounded, observing each other. Max decided to break the tension. All right, you three can disperse. The CAI group is calling for a pardon. Their legs, as if greased, immediately took off. Yes, go quickly. Golden's wooden head also spun fast, conveniently shooing away his two buddies. Let's go. We should grab a late meal. The good stuff will be gone. Peter was pushed along, weakly echoing, oh, okay. But it was easy come, easy go, just like the song. Mark had never heard Kwang Hung's music, so he looked really annoyed. Wait, I didn't say you could leave. You don't just want to go without saying goodbye. This low-level crowd has no sense of respect for others. That's not acceptable. The tree wants to be still, but the wind won't stop. He wasn't shy about questioning them. What else do you have to do? He comfortably read off the profile of that flashy guy Golden. In just 2 days, I've already heard rumors about you. My friends are all talking about a new high-level recruit who's always hanging out with the low-level crowd, which bruises their egos. He immediately jumped up. So what? Did I violate any rules? His eyes suddenly changed, smiling brightly like a flower, then began to caress. Of course not. Who you want to associate with is your freedom. He stepped closer to them. His tone remained steady, but he added, however, I must say one thing. He scanned Queen with a discriminatory gaze and finished. But in this realm, there are still unspoken rules. You see, once you start considering these trashy folks as useful people, they'll become arrogant like this trash. He stood so close, yet it showed no fear. His dark aura erupted, and every word cut like a dull knife against the skin in this world where only the strong survive. Some people, because they've been treated kindly, start to fantasize about demanding equality. He grinned widely, then provocatively said, You know what? I can't wait for the next battle to come quickly so I can comfortably wipe out trash like you. War is the best. Suddenly, Queen was flooded with memories of his parents' images being brought before him. I'm really looking forward to the next battle coming soon so I can comfortably wipe out trash like you. War is the best. Suddenly, the image of my parents' memorial flashed before Queen's mind. That man spoke in a dry tone because of the war. Your parents sacrificed themselves and your fists were clenched so tightly that the veins were bulging while a storm raged inside. How could he say such words? The Queen's fury was unstoppable. It transformed into a tangible force and surged forth like thunder. You didn't care if your opponent was level 6 or 600. You just threw a massive punch straight ahead. Ba had been silent all this time, but he reacted faster than his arm, creating a circle of blue light. The level difference was no joke. With just a light counterattack, he sent Quinn flying into Peter. Then both of them were thrown back several feet. The struggling duo hadn't even had a chance to stir up any trouble before being buried in the ground by a punch. Raleigh looked at the brutal outcome and remarked, You really don't know your place. The loser, feeling intrigued, chimed in, Is that all it takes for you to dare to lay a hand on us? Is it too much confidence? Now Golden witnessed his roommate getting beaten up and his blood boiled. Without thinking too much, he decided to ambush, but it seemed he forgot that he hadn't copied anyone's abilities in days. Seeing the opponent unscathed, his heart was in turmoil. How could this be? He had just dodged my attack so easily. Queen was furious at the reality of it all, grinding his teeth in frustration. Damn it, I can't believe this. Queen staggered to his feet, trying to stop this idiot from rushing headlong into danger. Golden reluctantly called out his name, Queen. But even he was now reflecting on how hot-headed he had been. Golden had no abilities at the moment either. We shouldn't clash with them. We've played enough already. Let's just turn our backs and leave, ha ha ha. I don't want to stir up trouble today. Consider this a friendly warning. In this school, there are people even the army wouldn't dare touch. You better watch yourselves, or you'll end up in a situation where you won't be whole. All three of them were taken aback by these words, left speechless. Besides wearing heavy expressions, they couldn't refute anything. After being thoroughly beaten, they dejectedly headed to the convenience store to address their hunger first, and Peter hesitantly asked, Is he serious? Is it true that no one cares about what happens in the military academy? Queen couldn't close his eyes and make up stories. It seemed that was indeed the case. Golden bluntly stated what he knew: the school had no measures in place. Because that benefits them in this environment. The weak seeking strength have only one way to go: join the army. Surprisingly, he agreed with this viewpoint. More resources and protection from the military. Of course, when needed, you have to go to the battlefield. After finishing up the food, Queen continued to address their friendship issues. Golden, though regretful, said, You should keep your distance from us. He jumped up like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. Why are you all just going to abandon me like this? Why should we listen to them? Now Quien sighed heavily, trying to make her friend understand. Maybe you don't realize there are many things we can't face once we violate their rules. They might not touch you, but Peter and I will become thorns in their eyes. Now Golden, feeling a bit desperate, expressed, I can protect you, just don't let them finish their sentences. Cut them off. Just stay away from us and we'll be safe. Now Peter, though, worried, gathered all his courage to advise Golden. I'm sorry, Queen is right, but our pride is flaring up. He turned around abruptly, not forgetting to shout. No more buts, fine, do as you wish. I'll distance myself from you. In no time, Golden's angry figure rushed to the door, not looking back. Peter stood there a bit heartbroken. He looked so sad. Queen said, maybe we should explain things to him again. She sighed deeply and reassured him, it's okay. Perhaps that would be better. In a hidden corner, not far away, Veli watched the Brotherhood's destruction unfold with a satisfied smile, but Golden was so stirred up by this grievance that he jumped into a different persona. Look at you, you can't do anything. What a waste of time. He struggled to contain his frustration and anger, shouting, shut up, you don't understand what I want. Golden, in a calm version, quietly analyzed. So you know what you want, and what then? The result will still be the same. No one will understand. He stomped heavily on the floor. I don't care what others think. I won't let those guys achieve their goals easily. The twilight dimmed in the space, and the sound of impact echoed. Bitter saw his friend being kicked aside and couldn't help but shout, Queen! Then Jelly coldly touched the new bracelet she had just gotten, transferring 17 points, but her mouth still had to curse. Resisting was useless when the balance was 0. He threw it towards Queen and continued his age-old song. Low tier stuff, really low tier, just a few measly points. Next time remember to be more self-aware and don't waste each other's time. Both he and the system demon were fuming, but they could only curse silently. In the end, it was still the same, no different from before. Peter snapped back to reality and comforted his friend in a way that was like a torn leaf trying to cover another torn leaf. It's okay. I still have a little money left in my account. Next time we can just recharge a few points. It's really annoying, but if we get robbed, we won't lose much. Quinn took back the bracelet, venting her frustrations. It's easy to say that. But how long will this life go on? Just then, a system notification popped up saying, you've received a new mission. You stared blankly, wondering what this new task was. The system was quite annoying, so it understood and immediately set up a revenge mission: defeat Jelly. The reward was 80 experience points, but Queen glanced at the opponent's name and felt a shiver. Defeating Jelly in your current state was impossible. I just got beaten up badly. The system, aware of the significant power gap, proactively added some promotional bonuses. It even pressured you by warning about the increasing hunger. Your body was directly exposed to sunlight, and your emotional state dropped by 50%. Remembering that you felt motivated, even though avoiding the sun could enhance your physical condition. But it still wasn't enough to close the gap with Jelly. You had to level up quickly. Time passed until the moon hung high above. The two guys, beaten up and covered in dirt, finally dragged themselves back to the dorm. Golden heard the door open and tilted his head, asking, Hey, you guys are back. I've been waiting for you for a long time, I said. While Queen hesitated shyly, Peter was sharper than the rest. We're back, he said. Golden, what's up with your face? Are you just going to brush this off? It's nothing, just got caught up in a little scuffle, Golden said, picking up his bag and forcing a smile to distract them. Don't ignore me, buddy. Let's just say I'm sorry about this afternoon. What about you two? Didn't run into any trouble, right? Peter honestly prepared to share. Actually, Queen quickly interrupted. We didn't encounter anything serious. We just went out for a feast and ate to our heart's content. The guy didn't even notice anything unusual and was happily suggesting, Sounds like fun. Next time, remember to invite me along. Peter lowered his voice, curious. Aren't you going to tell Golden? Quinn quickly shot him down. If he finds out, he'll definitely make a fuss. Let's not worry him anymore. After secretly discussing, the sound of a growling stomach filled the air, plunging the atmosphere into an eerie silence. In the end, it was still Quinn who had to laugh out loud to break the ice. You know how it is. The more expensive the food, the smaller the portion. It's normal to still feel hungry after eating. Besides, I digest quickly. Golden replied without any hesitation, automatically raising his wrist. That makes sense. You should go buy some more food at the convenience store. It's not far anyway, Quinn said, noticing her balance increase by 10 points, and she was startled. For me, you're reminding me too much. I feel embarrassed. Just take it as me making up for this afternoon. You know I can be a bit stubborn sometimes. I hope everyone can forgive me, she said discreetly, exchanging glances with Peter. They all sighed in relief. Thanks, then. she said. With the money in hand, you headed to the convenience store to satisfy your hunger and received the familiar polite response, "Thank you for your purchase." Connor from the nearby shelf was exclaiming, "Oh man, today I almost wet my pants. Did you see the look on his face?" "Good thing he didn't get mad at us," Brandon reminded quietly. But they were unaware that they had fallen into Queen's sights. "Aren't those the two from earlier?" "Listen closely to see what N is sharing. Veli said we need to quickly gather enough points, or he won't be able to protect us," Brandon muttered under his breath, cursing. "What a coward claiming he'll gather points himself." The guy quickly chimed in. "Exactly. If we don't borrow from others, how can we survive?" The system suddenly grinned, showing a side quest defeat any opponent to earn 50 experience points. Kian immediately felt a surge of joy. A mission perfect timing. Defeating those two shouldn't be hard, but confronting them directly would be too obvious unless... Your gaze suddenly landed on a wolf mask on the Halloween decoration shelf. This is the perfect moment to do something sneaky. Anne walked casually, completely unaware of the lurking danger until the shadow gradually revealed itself. He instinctively shivered. Anne turned around mouth agape, questioning someone. But there was nothing behind him, which relieved him somewhat. "Come on, stop pretending to be a ghost." The problem was that this time N celebrated a bit too early. Just as he was about to move on, he bumped into Queen, wearing the wolf mask, making him so scared that his face turned pale like a banana leaf. The initial image was set, and, of course, a scream would follow. Quinn looked at the stiff figure before her, silently sneering. "What a coward. Where's that guy?" Brandon called out his name, jumping out with a question lacking any subtlety. "Who are you?" Even though he was genuinely searching for him. But this unexpected appearance made him slightly pout, realizing he had been discovered. Brandon, braver than his friend, decided to strike first. "Who are you? Answer me." Queen calmly dodged the attack while activating the identity check skill. Upon realizing the opponent possessed wind attributes, her heart filled with doubt. "Wind, huh?" Brandon, to be more aggressive than my friend, decided to take the first move. "Who are you? Answer me." Queen calmly dodged the attack while activating her identity check skill. When she realized the opponent possessed the wind element, doubt crept into her heart. "Wind, huh? What kind of strange ability is this?" He didn't hear the answer, so he just charged in to attack the mysterious flying creature. Queen's face, revealed for the first time under the disguise, showed a hint of worry. Quickly, Brandon manipulated the wind into a blade, successfully drawing a bit of blood from his opponent. After the pain, his mind felt clearer. So this is how it's done. Even though his hands and feet were busy, his mouth wasn't idle. "I didn't need you to tell me. I could guess. You must be one of those who borrowed points from us, right? You thought you could just cover your face and get revenge. You're way off, Brandon." The more he fought, the more intense he became. Clearly, Queen was at a disadvantage. He rolled a small whirlwind in his hand and arrogantly ordered that if he wanted to, he should tear off the mask and kneel to apologize. "I can give you a way out." He tightened his trembling wrist from blood loss, quickly calculating in his head. Based on his abilities and fighting style, he was the fast type, so his defense must be weak. Quinn had to find a way to attack them, even just once. With that determination, Quinn took the initiative to strike. This action only boosted Brandon's confidence. Not knowing his own limits, he waited until the distance was just right and unleashed a series of wind blades. "You fool! My wind blades aren't limited to just 2 hands." Even though he was stabbed like a sieve. Queen gritted his teeth and maintained his speed. Then he poured all his resentment into a punch with his right hand, swiftly closing the distance to land a blow. He punched Brandon right in the face, but one hit wasn't enough. He carefully prepared for the next strike, this time aiming for Brandon's vulnerable spot. His defense was so weak that he could only curse, "Damn it, my eyes!" Quinn seized the opportunity and energetically continued to attack. "I have to smash that annoying face of yours." He had to cross his arms to protect his head, but his mouth was still as chaotic as ever. The fight, which seemed like it would drag on unexpectedly, ended with a direct kick to the teapot set. "Queen, but you fell for the trap too." The cuckoo's nest was broken, causing Brandon to feel so much pain that he was thrown off balance. As he lay there, the system cheerfully announced a 50-point reward as if to provoke him. Quinn was exhausted like a dog, just confirming his level up while silently cursing in his heart. "Oh my God, this damn system is so stingy. I knocked down 2 guys and didn't even get a little reward." Just as he finished speaking, he bit into his neck without warning. Queen's whole body stiffened as if a high-voltage current was running through him. He threw his head back and let out a long scream, blending with the explosive sounds of the transformation process. Not far away, a familiar sound from the convenience store seemed a bit weak. "Thank you for stopping by." Layla stepped out with a small bag in hand. She hadn't gone far when she suddenly became alert, looking toward the source of the noise. Even though darkness loomed ahead, it couldn't make Layla hesitate. Quinn had just leveled up and was carefully checking the new list that the system had just presented. Is this what they call evolution? Blood increased, but the experience needed for the next level also doubled. He carefully pondered all the information about the new blood absorption skill he had just received, then stabilized his swaying body, comforting himself that at least it was an attack-oriented type. But his stomach growled, making Quinn feel annoyed and distracted by hunger. On top of that, the system raised a red flag, urging him on, causing him to break out in a cold sweat. The hunger was becoming more intense, and the craving for fresh blood was uncontrollable. If he didn't replenish his blood, his vitality would continuously decrease. In a daze, Queen walked toward Brandon, complaining, "I'm so hungry." He lost control, revealing his sharp fangs and screaming that he needed blood. Blood, blood. Quinn lifted his prey and used his meager reasoning to reassure himself, just a little taste. This scene made Layla, who was hiding behind the bushes, tremble in fear. She involuntarily imagined a romantic scene between the two until she couldn't hold it in anymore and covered her face, wondering what they were doing. At this moment, Queen snapped back to reality. "What am I doing?" He panicked and stepped back, unable to believe what was happening. Did I really want to suck human blood? Completely out of control, just like a vampire's instinct, he felt a surge of panic and wanted to escape from this place. Would I kill him? No, I can't. I need to get out of here now. Layla sensed something was off. It didn't seem like they were kissing. What was wrong with him? So strange curiosity arose, and she reassured herself, whatever, I'll just follow and see what happens. Queen, in a half-conscious state, unconsciously cried out, "Blood! I need blood!" His life value was 8 out of 15, and it continued to drop. If this continued, he would be the first to die. The system's warning sounds rang out continuously, announcing that your hunger was increasing sharply. Quinn licked the blood on his hand as if to satisfy his hunger, but it didn't help much. At this point, he had reached the front of the school. Layla had always been close behind. Upon seeing him enter the infirmary, she speculated that he must be injured. Layla always stayed close behind the infirmary, watching you walk in, guessing that you must be hurt. What's he looking for? He needs treatment. Layla was confused by Queen's strange behavior as he rummaged through everything, mumbling, "No, no, no." Suddenly, he seemed to lose all his strength and fell back. Oh no, he couldn't hold on anymore. Layla rushed over just in time to catch him carefully. Queen's eyes were tightly shut, lying in her arms, gasping for breath, sweating profusely, making her extremely worried. "What's wrong with you? Are you sick? What happened?" His body was burning up like it was on fire. Queen's eyes were bloodshot, as if he was about to lose control. He unconsciously looked at Layla's neck, and suddenly he opened his mouth, revealing sharp fangs, saying, "I'm sorry," which made Layla feel uneasy. Before she could react, Queen forcefully pushed her down to the floor, biting her neck as if electrocuted. Her body trembled uncontrollably. "Wait!" Layla wanted to resist but couldn't move. Tears welled up in her eyes. "What are you doing?" But Queen seemed not to hear. At that moment, he was lost in savoring Layla's blood, which was unexpectedly sweet. Only when she lost all her strength and heard her moans did he snap back to reality. Queen hurriedly released her. Layla, terrified, backed away. Did I just drink her blood? The system notification sounded, confirming his suspicion. Your hunger has decreased. She's recovering her life. Could she have died? No way. Quinn quickly checked on her. Is she okay? Hearing me say that he tried to listen for her response, which made him breathe a sigh of relief. That's good. It seems she's not in danger. Quinn gently placed Layla on the hospital bed. Just stay still here. I'll go find a doctor right away. Layla Quinn hurriedly ran off, shouting, Doctor, doctor, someone's fainted here. Not long after Layla opened her eyes. Oh, you're awake. Looks like it's nothing serious, just a bit anemic. Dr. Holly smiled at her. Okay, I'll prescribe you some supplements. Remember to take them on time. If you feel unwell, come find me right away. Layla politely replied, Thank you, I fainted right. Yes, that's right. Good thing your little boyfriend was here. He was so worried he rushed straight to the teacher's dorm to find me. What a crazy guy. Layla looked confused. Boyfriend, Dr. Hallie teased. Yeah, the guy with slightly curly hair. Isn't that your boyfriend? I saw him looking so worried, I thought it was real. Layla quickly denied it. No, he's just a classmate. Where is he now? Oh, I told him it wasn't serious, so I let him go home first. Layla recalled what had just happened, still feeling scared. It's nothing major. It's strange, though. I remember him biting me. Moreover, could he be? A terrifying thought crossed her mind. A vampire. As night fell, she lay on the bed pondering. After drinking blood, her hunger disappeared, and she also received a boost in attributes. He tossed and turned all night, unable to sleep, while his roommate slept soundly, mumbling in his dreams. Sorry, I'm not a system. He dreamily heard, Congratulations, you've completed the task of drinking human blood. 50 experience points gained. Bonus increased strength and agility. Quinn anxiously looked at the system panel. Although enhancing physical strength was good, the problem was how to have a stable blood source. Later, he recalled the moment he craved Layla's blood. He had never tasted anything so delicious. Was it only her blood that tasted this good, or was everyone else's blood the same? As he remembered, he drooled with longing. How am I going to explain this to her? If she tells the teacher, then no way I have to deny it. Or maybe I could negotiate with her, pay her to be my stable blood supply. Now I'm thinking nonsense again. Buying blood with money is too weird. Besides, I don't have money to pay anyone. I'll go to the hospital tomorrow and try my luck again. Time to sleep. He thought for a long time and finally tried to close his eyes. A new day began like any other. The teacher's voice ended the lecture. That's it for today. Everyone, don't forget to practice and apply your superpowers. Next week, we will have a combat practice session. Remember to review the materials and understand the course rules. All the students left the classroom together. What's the point of the combat practice session? Basically, it's for students to divide into teams and compete without using their superpowers. It's a basic, real combat training and no powers allowed. That sounds boring. Only Queen is looking for an excuse to bail. You all go eat first. My stomach's a bit upset. I want to stop by the infirmary for a bit. Golden frowned at you. You really should get that checked out. But I've never seen anyone get hungry faster than you. Then he waved goodbye, saying he was heading out first. I'll get you a meal too, Queen replied. But really, you're looking for a stable blood source for your body. Yesterday my mind wasn't clear, so I ended up mistaking things like plasma. If it needs to be preserved, it has to be kept in a cold storage until it's tested for luck. The plasma just taken out probably needs to be stored at a low temperature. Just then, Layla pulled you back. We need to talk. What did you do yesterday? I was in a tight spot, and Queen couldn't resist, so I had to accept being the underdog pushed against the wall. Yesterday, did we meet? Layla was angry because you kept avoiding the topic, so she got straight to the point. Stop pretending. Yesterday, in the infirmary, you bit me. Queen stammered. It was all a misunderstanding. I had a fever yesterday. My mind was a bit foggy. The more you talked, the more you led the situation into a dead end. Help Layla pump blood to her brain. Fever and a foggy mind. Are you joking? Not only did you bite me, but you also sucked my blood. I can't believe it. There are people like you in the academy? Queen's gaze darkened, and you awkwardly admitted it. If you already know everything, then I have nothing left to defend. But I have my own struggles. The atmosphere between the two became tense. Each word Layla said was like a knife. Stop talking nonsense and causing trouble like that. You wouldn't want others to know, right? Queen confronted her directly. What do you want to do? At that moment, Layla softened, suggesting a partnership. Don't be tense, my mouth is very tight. Just agree to one thing with me. What thing time waits for? No one. Layla's eyes were glistening with tears, pleading, please turn me into a vampire. Even Queen couldn't believe it. Layla repeated once more, please turn me into a vampire. Queen was momentarily stunned. Her earlier fear had turned into psychological trauma. Wait, are you serious? Layla directly admitted it. Of course. Do you know how excited I am right now? I'm a writer influenced by you, so I've read all kinds of fantasy novels since I was little, and the creatures I love the most are vampires. They're both powerful and mysterious, never aging or dying. It's just amazing. I've dreamed of becoming a vampire in my dreams, and I never expected to actually meet one. For Queen, this was impossible. On the contrary, you could breathe a sigh of relief. She calmed down a bit and said, "I'm afraid I'll disappoint you. I can't turn others into vampires. The reason is, I became like this because of a book of powers. You understand what that means, right?" Layla sat down on the floor looking dejected. It seemed like no one was as miserable as her. "Why is it like this? You gave me hope and then snuffed it out." Queen's face twitched, not knowing how to comfort her. A person can only possess one type of superpower in their lifetime. Moreover, once accepted, the blood in the body will undergo irreversible mutations, so you can't choose another power. Layla was shocked back to reality, her eyes still glistening with tears. "So why did you have to hide it, making me think I really met a vampire?" Queen gently smiled to comfort her. "You've never seen a power that requires blood to level up right. If the military finds out, I'd definitely have to face endless interrogations. Besides, I don't even understand many things about this power myself. Even if you asked me now, I couldn't explain it clearly." Layla's face lit up. "So that means you're not sure if there's a way to turn others into vampires later, right?" Even Queen felt helpless against her determination. "If you insist on thinking that way, then you're not wrong." Layla continued to corner you. "All right then, I can help you enhance your powers. You need a blood source, right? I don't need anything in return. Just promise me that if you get the chance in the future, please turn me into a vampire." Quinn was too scared to speak, wondering why her friend's brain was so different. "After that, you tried to find a way to escape. I can't promise you anything, but if I can, I'll give it a shot. But you have to keep this a secret for me." But the superglue wouldn't let go. It was no problem for you to pull away, and Peter rushed over, calling out to Queen, making her wonder what was wrong with him, why he looked so frantic. Layla beside her suddenly teased, "Oh, is that the friend without any powers?" Quinn ignored the mockery and hurriedly announced, "Golden's in trouble." In an area that was almost like a school storage room, it was incredibly gloomy. Quinn rushed over. "Golden, what happened to you?" Golden didn't respond, just shot a cold glance because he was drenched in blood with unfortunate souls sprawled everywhere. Queen's pupils dilated in shock at the sight, and Peter, who had just stepped closer, was also taken aback by Golden. "Did you take them all down by yourself?" Golden's whole body was soaked in thick red liquid, coldly glancing at you, not understanding what was happening, so he was very worried. "Golden, did those people come after you because of me and Peter?" "No." He ignored everyone's gaze and quickly tried to leave. "Don't come near me. Everyone will be fine." Layla noticed the strong smell of blood coming from him and worriedly said, "Oh my God, you're bleeding too much. We need to get you to the infirmary right away." But all he gave in return was a deathly stare from Golden. Bitterly ignoring the threats, he stubbornly walked away. "Where are you going, Golden?" At that moment, he didn't want to say much, just kept walking straight ahead. "Please don't bother me anymore." Layla looked around trying to find a clue as to why he had changed so suddenly. What happened before this, Peter tried his best, but still couldn't explain. "I don't know. Golden said he would practice combat with me, but halfway through, those upperclassmen took him away, so I quickly went to find you. Coming back, it turned out like this." Queen relied on the information she had to make a guess. Could it be that the upperclassmen said something that triggered him? Now he finally noticed the presence of a stranger. "Speaking of which, what's up with the girl beside you?" You hadn't anticipated this question, so you hesitated a bit. "Oh, I just ran into a friend." Layla was quite enthusiastic, hugging your arm tightly with a sweet smile. "I was just asking if you wanted to go eat with us." "Do you want to join us?" Layla was desperately sending out dating signals. Peter had no intention of being a third wheel and quickly tried to escape. "No, that's okay. I'll go find Golden again." "Enjoy your meal, you two." The guy secretly wished the little couple well. I understand, but Quinn was left speechless, not expecting the other person to turn away so bluntly. You were flustered, sweating. Why did she suddenly act like that? Layla was just waiting for this rhythmically attacking the target. "Oh, don't worry about that. I have so many questions to ask you. Is there someone else here? It's not convenient to talk. Come on, I'll treat you to a meal." Quinn clearly showed her helplessness, trying to find a way to decline. "Let go of me. I have something important to do." The butter was already at her lips, and it wasn't easy to let go. "Don't say anything. Nothing is more important than eating." From inside the infirmary, ambiguous sound suddenly drifted out. "Are you sure you're okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine. Don't be shy." Layla brushed her hair back, revealing her alluring neck. "Just be gentle." Queen, wearing a mask and carrying medical supplies, approached. "What are you doing?" Her eyes were teary, a hint of disappointment flickering. "You bit me like that yesterday. You were completely helpless and had to explain again. I told you." "I wasn't in my right mind. I was starving and fainting. When I'm clear-headed, I would never bite someone like that. It's so unhygienic." Layla's emotions were constantly shifting. "Are you criticizing me now?" Queen, being challenged for a while, was almost out of energy. "No, what if I didn't brush my teeth properly? Who knows, what if your wound gets infected?" They, a guy and a girl, were bickering in the room. "Oh, be gentle. Right there on the blood vessel. Be quiet for a moment. Don't move around. I just learned this. I'll be done soon." After a while of fumbling, Queen finally breathed a sigh of relief. "Phew, I did it." Layla, in pain and forcing herself, had cheeks redder than a tomato. "You might as well just bite me already. It's better than this." You carefully took out the syringe, explaining slowly, "It's not the same. This way I can save some for emergencies." She watched every move of yours with gentle eyes. You're thinking pretty deeply there." But Queen didn't hold back, bluntly stating the harsh truth that the intelligence of the poor boy was nearly complete, just a few final steps left. Layla noticed the issue, and Ben proposed a solution if he truly lacked money. "You could sell that skill book. A skill book that isn't registered is enough to ensure you a comfortable life." He took off his mask, revealing a naive and awkward face. "I want that too. But that book vanished the moment I opened it, and I can't share it. It's already merged with my body. Do you understand that?" Hearing this strange situation for the first time, she was astonished. "Merging with your body, is that even possible?" "There are still many secrets about superpowers that haven't been revealed. How do those who possess primal abilities turn their powers into skill books? A person knowledgeable about history and capable of controlling the environment. As long as you develop your abilities to the maximum, you'll definitely be able to become like a real vampire." "Yeah, that's right. It definitely is." Queen made a devilish face, knowing there's no hope. "As long as you're happy." Layla's face was flushed with anticipation for the decisive moment. "What will it taste like?" He slowly raised the test tube containing blood, swallowing it while thinking, "It seems that just this amount of blood won't harm her body. Next, I just need to find a suitable place to store the remaining blood." The energy boost made Queen feel much more alert. "It's really sweet." She couldn't help but tremble with excitement. For the first time, he felt such pleasure. "So delicious. Has my taste system changed?" There was absolutely no fishy smell. "I get it now. Drinking blood can restore vitality, while sucking blood from different targets can enhance various attributes." The screen in front of him kept flashing, "Your HP is full. Blood won't have any effect. The blood from this target has been consumed. It can't increase attributes." Quinn recalled the previous scene, her inner greed resurfacing. "What a pity I couldn't drink the blood of those two yesterday. It was such a waste. But from now on, I just need to switch targets to confirm." Layla, with her keen observation skills, approached him with a serious face, smiling eerily. "I know you've made a new discovery." He had just been pulled back to reality and was still a bit dazed. "Yeah, thank you so much. Now I have a new direction." "Let's go. We need to visit the library again." She was dragged along while her stomach protested. "Wait, you've eaten enough already." "I haven't eaten anything." Quinn, full of energy, mischievously winked. "Then let's go eat. By the way, your blood sugar is a bit high when you're hungry." The two happily left the room, unaware of an uninvited guest. "You could taste that too." "Just kidding, get lost." Golden's face darkened, clearly having witnessed everything. "Did you forget me so quickly? You're mine. I won't let anyone harm you." In the familiar small room, Golden harshly admonished. "That guy is very dangerous, isn't he? It's obvious why you're with someone like that." The kid will be sad. But beneath his gloomy expression was an unusual worry. "I think you're being unreasonable. Honestly, I don't care if he harms the kid. Even so, that doesn't mean Queen can't talk to others, right?" This intense dialogue echoed into the kitchen. "If you dare lay a hand on them, I won't forgive you." If you don't believe me, just wait and see." "Don't worry, I absolutely won't let anything like before happen again." This made Peter a bit startled, wondering, Golden is back. "Who is he arguing with?" The guy peeked out, trying to see. Are you done talking to someone else?" "I'm not bothering you, am I?" Golden was surprised to find someone at home. Peter looked flustered. "You're back." He awkwardly tried to cover up his strange behavior. "I wasn't talking to anyone." Peter was about to press for more, but Golden smoothly changed the subject. "I must be rambling. Come on, follow me to grab something to eat. You're strong leading your buddy out here starving because those punks delayed lunch. It's almost dinner time now." Bitterly, I momentarily forgot the past and asked what those guys had done to you. "You seem really different today," but all I got in response was Golden's loud laughter. "Ha ha ha, what can they do to me? Anyway, they're just trash. They barely affect my mood. But don't worry, I'll adjust, and at the gym with no one around, I sincerely expressed my gratitude today. Thank you." Layla, the one being thanked, bowed her head respectfully. "It's my honor, my lord." She smiled brighter than the morning sun, saying goodbye. "See you tomorrow." You smiled and waved. "Aha, see you tomorrow." But inside you felt flustered. "Who's your lord? You're exaggerating." As soon as I got home, Queen greeted me. "You're back." Before I could even take off my shoes, I saw two friends excitedly testing out a new trick. I did it. I did it. Finally, I did it just like that. "Great job, Peter." You rushed over, eager to join in. "Wow, Peter, you've mastered the superpower already." The guy was so excited he could almost jump up. "Yeah, that's right." Queen. "Wow, this is amazing. I finally have powers." Only Golden was stroking his chin thoughtfully. The only problem is carrying a lump of mud around that might be a bit weird." Thinking that he directly took action to solve the problem he created. "Let's try this. Gather all the superpowers in one place, normally just carry it around when needed. At least I won't have to dig right away." Peter's eyes lit up when he saw the transformation of the sword in his hand. "Wow, this is a level 5 power. You're really good." "So fast you can already use it skillfully," Quinn modestly instructed. "What are you talking about?" "You can do it too. It's easy, just practice a little." At that moment, Quinn turned to check on Golden. "Are you okay?" "Peter and I are really worried about you." "Yeah." Golden waved his hand dismissively. "I just get a little affected by others' emotions sometimes, buddy." "You'll get used to it. Don't worry. I'm fine." Oh, knowing the other was pretending you frowned, bringing up the past. "That's not the issue. What I want to ask is..." Just then, Peter accidentally interrupted. "Oh, I just remembered, Queen. I still haven't asked if you're in love or not." Golden's fans gasped, quickly joining in. "Oh, is that true?" Hearing that, Queen snapped back to reality, turning to glare at her friend. "Hey!" The guy was totally clueless. "What's going on?" "It's that girl from earlier. She seemed really close to you." Golden, enjoying the moment, added fuel to the fire. "You little rascal, are you secretly dating behind our backs?" You waved your hands, shaking your head. No, it's not like that. Classmate Layla, I just remembered her gentle demeanor." Queen felt embarrassed, her face turning red, mumbling, "It's just unfortunate. Luckily, you still had enough sense to defend yourself. It's just a normal classmate relationship. I'm just asking her to teach me how to use the beast weapon. That's all. Ha ha." Peter immediately caught on. "Oh, so that's it. So have you decided to join the beast weapon team then?" Quinn asked in confusion. "The beast weapon team?" The guy quickly explained. "Yeah, it's the combat practice session. Haven't you seen the materials?" Quinn asked, back in confusion. The guy decisively explained. "That's right. It's the combat practice session. Haven't you looked at the materials yet?" Split into a bare-handed group and a beast weapon group, everyone can choose whether to use beast weapons for combat based on their preferences. Golden will also participate in case the use of powers is banned. The bare-handed group mainly focuses on physical competition, while the beast weapon group emphasizes weapon choice and skill usage, as long as they can leverage the advantages of their weapons. Even a low-level person can defeat a high-level one. Peter bitterly shed tears. "With my current level, I should obediently join the bare-handed group first, just hoping the opponent won't hit too hard." Golden comforted him. "Well, I'll join you in the bare-handed group. That way, there will be someone to support them." The two of them excitedly joined in, but that means Queen will be left alone. "Besides, that classmate of yours will take care of him." "You look so reluctant." "You two can relax. I'm fine." But inside, he sighed. "They still don't know the situation with my powers. I guess I need to find a chance to explain. But beast weapons sound pretty cool." A beautiful new day begins at the academy, with the clear morning sun shining on the grand architecture in the hall. Logan is passionately explaining to the new recruits that today's first task is to choose their weapons. When you lose your superpowers, weapons will be the only thing you can rely on. Below, a young man who isn't great at studying but is loud speaks up. Our hands are the only thing we can rely on. I'm sure the bare-handed group will say the same thing. The blonde guy sitting next to him scoffed. Exactly. So what if we lose our weapons too? A sword suddenly flashed across, startling the two guys into pale faces. Teacher Leo enthusiastically guided them down to hell. Then you can go die. Not far away, Layla was eagerly chatting with Queen. Aren't your roommates coming with you? You glanced at her. Yeah, they went with the bare-handed group. This answer seemed to please her even more. Great, we can go together without anyone bothering us. But before they could be too happy, Layla suddenly pouted. Why is she here too? Queen curiously looked around. Who? Following her gaze, you recognized a familiar face. Oh, it's Aylin, the one who defeated you last time. I didn't expect her to be interested in beast weapons. Layla showed her discontent. If I meet her again this time, I definitely won't lose. In front of the lectern, Leo pointed behind him, reminding all students, now you all go choose a weapon for yourselves. Each person can only choose one. I must remind you to evaluate the weight, durability, attack range, and other factors to find the most suitable item for you. Quinn blended into the crowd, browsing through a bunch of weapons in front of him, swords, axes, rhino horns, and curved knives. Just as he silently admired how convenient this skill was, Quinn could visually see the impact of the weapons on his basic stats when something caught his eye. This weapon looks sharp. It attracted all of Quinn's attention. 4 black horn gloves, a primary beast weapon compatible with the Bloodgain skill. When equipped, Bloodgain increases damage by 5%. He felt overjoyed inside. Not only does it boost basic attributes, but it also enhances attack skills. This weapon was truly made for him. So he decisively chose it, but it seemed Teacher Leo was not pleased with this decision. The young man advised him to pick an easier-to-use piece of equipment. Queen blurted out, why? The teacher patiently analyzed the limitations of the gloves. While they are certainly more durable than other types of weapons to a certain extent and can be used for defense, their attack range is very short. This means that when facing an enemy's sword, you have to get close to deal damage. Despite that, Queen remained steadfast in her choice. It's okay. I want to try it once. The student's stubborn spirit only made the teacher shake his head in disappointment. It's strange. After everything is settled, Leo finally started the school battle. Everyone be quiet. Those who have chosen their weapons gather over here. Who wants to be the first to step into the arena? In the crowd, silence fell, and only Aylin's brave hand shot up. Wow, the goddess wants to go first. You want to date her, the chance is here. Is she serious? She's level 5. Getting hit by the goddess is an honor, right? Get lost, you pervert. Teacher Leo continued calling out, very good. We have our first volunteer, so who wants to? Without needing the teacher to finish, a bunch of hands eagerly shot up. I want to. But their starry-eyed looks at the girl made Leo, you just need to be quiet for a moment, big guy. It's your turn now, Deem. I've heard of you, Eileen. Among the newcomers, you're pretty impressive. But with a small frame like yours, you can't possibly beat me. The sword in her hand suddenly flashed with a bright light. Aileen didn't bother to respond, simply brandishing her weapon as an invitation to fight. Deem smirked confidently and charged forward to take the initiative. He swung his sword horizontally, aiming for the top of Eileen's head, but she easily dodged it. At this moment, her prowess made Deem feel a twinge of fear. Aileen ended the match with a sword held against his neck, saying, "You've talked enough." The guy had no choice but to raise the white flag, conceding defeat. Meanwhile, the others were still wide-eyed in shock at the lightning-fast duel. It's over. Wow, that was intense. Queen had quietly analyzed Eileen's strength seriously. Her abilities at this level were clearly distinct from others, with no wasted movements. The fighting process could be described as extremely fluid and refined. Layla pouted in dissatisfaction, thinking that an opponent of that caliber was easy to handle. There was no need to put on a show. Just as Teacher Leo signaled that the next match could begin, he announced, "This should be a decent performance. Now everyone please check your bracelets. They will automatically pair you with an opponent of similar skill. Once you've found your opponent, you can fight freely. I'll be standing by to observe, hoping you all take care not to cause serious injuries." Queen also received information about her opponent. You're facing a level 3. I'm a bit surprised I can actually fight someone at this level now. Not far away, Lupo's mocking laughter rang out. Ha ha ha, you have level 1 abilities. Are you kidding me? Face? If it goes on like this, you'll only be able to play with those without powers. Go play somewhere else. This is definitely a pairing system issue. Ravi, standing nearby, gleefully added fuel to the fire. Not necessarily. Look at this. Lupo and I both got paired with level 3 opponents. Call. Exactly. You should take a good look at yourself. He couldn't argue back and got furious, storming off, not wanting to pay attention to them anymore. Lupo added, we have to see your excellent performance before we go fight. You'll finish your match quickly, right? Face, feeling irritated, glared at everyone. Get out of my way. I need to wrap this up quickly. It's you, isn't it? Come on, let's start quickly. Don't hesitate. Quinn sighed, realizing he was completely overlooked. Whispers about him rose from all directions. Look over there. That's the guy without superpowers. Is he here to learn real combat, too? Thank goodness I'm not paired with him. I'd hate to hurt him. Ha ha, what kind of weapon did he choose? It looks pretty impressive. Isn't that a spear? That combat glove is totally useless. Can't you see he has a 2-meter-long knife over there? It's basically impossible to get close. They're quite similar. Layla, feeling a bit uneasy, asked, Is he level 3? Can you handle it? Queen confidently replied, No problem. Suddenly, the system's announcement popped up. Mission complete. Defeat your opponent. You will receive 60 experience points and a special reward. He happily accepted it, thinking it was just in time. For the past few days, he had been relying on daily missions to gain experience, and the progress was really slow. It's time to step it up. So Queen waved her hand, signaling to start. Face clicked his tongue, muttering something fake. Just as he finished speaking, he swiftly charged forward with an axe. His quick reaction intrigued Face. Oh, that's pretty nimble. The greatest strength of this weapon isn't the thrust. His hand lightly spun, pushing the blade toward Queen's face, but it was the long-range slash that caught everyone's attention. Looking back, it seemed as if his body was sliced through. Layla gasped and shouted in panic. Quinn couldn't believe that the worst-case scenario everyone imagined didn't happen. Her cold gloves had firmly grasped Face's sharp weapon. She seemed quite pleased with her newly acquired weapon. This combat glove had excellent defensive capabilities, while Face could only anxiously shout, Let go! Let go! The amused smile of his opponent made him uneasy. What do you want to do? Queen aggressively swung her hand, breaking his weapon. Did I just misjudge? His weapon was crushed by that guy in just one hit. Even Eileen had to widen her eyes in shock as Queen continued to unleash close-range attacks, leaving Face unable to react. He decisively delivered a powerful kick that sent the guy flying back several meters, unable to withstand the blow. He wiped the blood from his nose in fury, coughing, You little brat, you really got on my nerves. But Teacher Leo quickly intervened to stop this game from spiraling out of control. The competition ended, and the winner was Queen. Face was visibly upset, insisting on getting justice. What the hell? How is he considered the winner? Clearly there was something wrong with my weapon. The Judge Min firmly stated that the weapon was fine and had passed all inspections. It was simply that he was using a better weapon. But Lupa and Ravi adamantly refused to accept that. No way. How could it break so easily? He must have cheated somehow. The blind swordsman, Leo's roar echoed like thunder. Shut up! No one can cheat right under my nose. His threat silenced everyone immediately. Meanwhile, Layla was chirping praises from the sidelines. Great job, I was worried for you. But Queen remained humble, saying, It's just okay. Looks like this weapon suits me well, she said as the jealous ones began to whisper among themselves. A third-tier ability losing to someone without any ability? That's just a bit absurd. Could it be that there's some kind of connection at home? Is that how he cheated? Who knows, it's so frustrating. Let's disperse. I'm off to find my opponent. Layla whispered in his ear, but I have a feeling you might have made some enemies. More and more people are starting to eye you suspiciously. I don't care about those petty things, Quinn replied. Just feels a bit wasteful, she said, noticing the opponent glaring at Face's back, muttering, Damn it, my nose is bleeding again. She quickly understood the issue. Wasteful, oh so you're hungry. Layla smiled alluringly as if inviting him, Don't rush. Wait a bit, and I'll make sure you eat your fill later. Queen blushed and lightly scolded, What are you talking about? The system announcement rang out, temporarily distracting him from his hunger. Mission to defeat your opponent completed. Earned 60 experience points plus an additional 60 experience points. Skill Blood Bank unlocked, allowing storage of 100 milliliters of blood. Level up to Tier 3 stamina. The generous rewards left Queen speechless. Wow, so many rewards. I'm struggling with where to store this blood, and now my life has significantly increased. Little did he know he had caught Teacher Leo's attention. Queen Tier 1 superhuman strength, The teacher mumbled, "This kid is interesting." An hour later, Leo announced, "Break time is over, let's rest a bit. Next, we'll proceed with paired combat training." The students cheered in unison, and Queen happily stepped forward to congratulate her friend. "You seem to win quite easily, huh?" Layla confidently patted her chest. "Of course. When it comes to using weapons, I'm not afraid of anyone. Let's be in the same group for the combat training later." Lupo, standing nearby, smirked and said, "I have a new revenge plan." Moments later, Face grinned wickedly and nodded. "Okay, let's do it." The two immediately approached Queen to cause some trouble for the star. "Later, let's have a team battle against us." Layla, not liking them, directly taunted, "Oh, can't handle a loss." Face feigned generosity. "Don't say that. I just underestimated my opponent and didn't unleash my full strength. How about this? We can make a little bet. If we win, nothing happens, but if we lose, each of us will give you 10 points. What do you think?" She turned to ask her teammate, "What do you think?" Queen was indifferent, welcoming anyone with conditions. There was no reason to refuse. Lupo, hearing that, decisively turned away. "All right, let's go with that." As for Face, he had already gotten the approval from the teacher. "Teacher Leo, we've found our opponents. Can we start early?" At that moment, the two began to sense the trap. I felt like they were up to something. "I think so too. Maybe they want to save Face. Just be careful." Lupo announced loudly, "We're ready and can start any time." The crowd, excited for the show, gathered like flies. "Oh, they're going head-to-head again. This is going to be fun." "Come on, Face. This time, try to hold out for 5 minutes. Okay, ha ha ha, and there's a girl this time too, so don't lose and say you let her win." Face was furious, blood boiling, and shouted, "Shut up!" The system sensed the situation and announced the mission. Defeat the opposing duo for a reward of 100 experience points. This was the goal, win no matter what, even if they gave points in the end. As long as there's experience, I absolutely cannot miss this. You quickly noticed something strange. In the opposing lineup, it was strange. That guy named Cabbage only had a shield, no offensive weapon. Layla quickly analyzed. It seems both of them plan to fight in close combat. They probably want to deal with you together. Hearing that, Queen devised a battle plan in her head. "You help me hold down the guy with the shield first. I'll take care of the other one." Both sides were ready. Teacher Leo raised his voice, waving the flag. "Members, take your positions." As the command to start rang out, Face charged, eager to confront Queen. This time wouldn't be easy. "You won't break my weapon again." Just as Lupo was about to step in to assist, a sharp arrow blocked his path. "This is dangerous." Layla had been staring at him for a while. "You're my opponent, don't even think about sneaking up on Queen." But Lupo didn't seem in a hurry. "Oh, wow. You've seen through me. I was too hasty." This situation made her even more cautious. It was strange. This guy wasn't approaching Queen and had no intention to attack. What was he planning? Lupo was just fending off Layla's barrage of arrows. "All right, almost there," he reported back to his teammates. Face. Hearing that, he quickly changed tactics, retreating. He keenly noticed that Lupo had changed his stance. You predicted every move Face was about to make. One of Lupo's hands was gathering energy, and the tips of his fingers were glowing, revealing bone looking extremely terrifying. Layla finally sensed something was off. "Superhuman power." A flurry of bone shards shot from Lupo's fingers towards the opponent. Layla screamed in fear, "Queen, watch out!" Before she could react, the sneak attack hit, causing her to bleed. At the same time, the sword in front of her began to pierce her flesh. The more Face exerted force, the more pain Queen felt. "Ugh." A series of strange sounds made Leo slip and realize something was wrong. He quickly turned to observe while Face feigned innocence, saying, "Sorry, I didn't expect you wouldn't dodge. You were too careless." With the system's warning sound, life value 10, Queen endured the pain and pulled the sword out of her body. You bastard! This dirty act made Layla furious, pointing at Lupo and accusing him of cheating. I clearly stated before the fight that superhuman powers were not allowed, but he was also getting defensive, denying everything. No, don't pin this on me. I only use bones as weapons. Do you want me to only use the shield to fight you? That would be too unfair. I haven't even taken a step forward. Leo's angry voice echoed throughout the arena. Put down your shield and get out of my class. This made Lupo feel disheartened, sighing. All right. Maybe I misunderstood a bit. Amid the crowd's buzzing chatter, it looked bad, but it's just how real combat is. You can't expect the opponent to follow the rules. After all, it's a bit unreasonable. This is training. Exactly, especially since he's a high-ranking guy. Using such underhanded tactics is just embarrassing. Layla quickly rushed over to Queen. Are you okay? Heavily injured, suddenly the sword embedded in you slipped out and fell to the ground with a thud amidst Queen's dry laughter. The sight of blood left her completely stunned as you slowly pulled out the remaining sword, as if death itself had possessed you. Ha, so you want to play like that? Blood flowed from the open wound, causing Face to instinctively back away in fear. Is this guy crazy? Summoning his true power, Queen's voice gradually shifted into an invisible aura. Then I'll play with you until you're satisfied. I sensed the variables about to crash down on him, and he could only tremble and stealthily step back a few paces. What's going on? His body was shaking. Calm down. He had some skill, but he was only at level 1, no need to be scared. Seeing the opponent starting to show vulnerabilities, Queen silently raised her claws and lunged forward. The swift and decisive action made Face scream at a dolphin-like frequency. The sudden tension forced Leo to intervene before your strike could reach the prey, which was halted by a slash from the teacher. It made his face turn pale. Seeing that Queen wouldn't give up, Leo helplessly reminded, That's enough. Stop it. The two kept struggling until the teacher noticed the killing intent in your eyes gradually fading away. This kid really wanted to kill him, but while Queen was still dissatisfied, Layla anxiously rushed over. Queen, you're bleeding too much. Don't move. Leo then activated the communication device to call for medical staff. There's a student injured during combat. Please take him for treatment. Seeing Face trembling in his own puddle of urine, the teacher coldly issued the final order. And you, I don't want to see you in my class again. This place doesn't welcome those who don't follow the rules. As the dust settled, the noise began to rise again. Did you see clearly just now? The buzzing sound attracted many curious onlookers to the scene. No, that kid's speed is a bit fast. Making for a brief conversation between the medical team and... Layla had to raise her voice suddenly. Who got hurt here? In the chaotic atmosphere, is this the speed that someone without superpowers should have? Perhaps he just recently awakened. Meanwhile, Aileen quietly cast an admiring glance at Queen. This guy is interesting. Leo looked at your oddly shaped arm and slowly spoke. Class is over, while his mind was still tangled with thoughts. Queen, what are you really hiding? The deep scratches on the wooden floor made the teacher frown in contemplation. This is the first time I've seen someone unleash the power of the black armor like this. After a while, Hallie gently announced, In the infirmary, there's nothing serious. Just need to rest and recuperate. Yes, this helped Layla's heart, which was hanging in suspense, to finally settle down. Yes, thank you, doctor. As she stepped out of the room, Queen hurriedly probed. The doctor didn't find anything unusual, right? Making Layla breathe a sigh of relief, she had to let out a long song. Look at them, they're so busy. There's no time to investigate how your wound has healed. The doctor thought that Teacher Leo was overreacting. He said you only had a few scratches. Hearing that made you happy, and you sighed in relief. Well, that's good. Luckily, your blood helped me recover so quickly. That calm expression made her even more worried. Next time, don't be so impulsive. I'm still afraid you'll fight with Teacher Leo. Remembering that moment, Queen obediently nodded. Yeah, I was too impulsive. Luckily, the teacher stopped me. Otherwise, if things got noisy, my secret wouldn't be hidden anymore. The two's conversation echoed throughout the room, easing the atmosphere. All right, you rest first. I'll take your clothes to wash. No, you don't need to bother. I can wash them myself. Don't be polite. If they get dirty, they need to be washed. But among those things was my underwear. Just as Layla stepped out with her arms full, she ran into Peter and Golden, who were rushing over. Ah, they're Queen's dorm mates, she thought, while the other two were caught up in a conversation that sounded even more desperate than a starving ghost. Hurry up over here. Right. Seeing their breathless state, she couldn't help but wonder, did the two of you come looking for Queen? He's in room 2, and seeing the opponent's heart, Peter is overjoyed and tries to catch his breath to ask how he's doing and thank him. Layla looks at the two of them, more exhausted than the patient, and offers a bit of information that the doctor said it's nothing serious, just needs some time to rest. As Golden regains his strength, he notices the pile of clothes in her hands and feels uneasy. These are Queen's clothes stained with so much blood. The uncontrollable rage spills out, and he realizes something's wrong. I told you we need to keep an eye on him, didn't I? What we really need to do is find a chance to take out those guys. His words, laced with bitterness, keep coming out. Stop saying that. The kid doesn't like it. This makes both Layla and Peter sweat nervously. Who are you talking to? Golden, are you okay? But the anger has consumed his reason, and Golden suddenly grabs her by the throat, shouting, Shut up, while Layla struggles to escape the surprise attack. Peter is also anxiously shouting, while Golden is still lost in his rage, grinding his teeth, wondering what she did to Queen. Layla tries to break free, saying, What's going on? I didn't do anything. Peter quickly jumps in. Let's talk this out, Golden. Don't make a scene. Let go of her. But his mind is overtaken by rage as he yells, Shut up. Don't call me Golden. Seeing the situation getting worse, Layla quickly gathers her strength and uses that energy to grab a scalpel and throw it at him. Let me go! The knife swiftly embeds itself in his leg. With the grip on his neck, released a sense of dissatisfaction rises, prompting Layla to immediately pull out the knife and attack, coughing, You've angered me. As soon as he sees Golden trying to get up, she quickly presses 3 knives against his neck, warning him, If you dare move again, I'll stab you right in the head. The tense situation escalates, leaving Peter confused and pale. Golden, she's also a friend of Queen. She definitely didn't do anything to her. But he remains stubborn, insisting, Today I must teach this annoying girl a lesson. Before Layla can do anything, she hears Golden's incomprehensible monologue. Wait, what Peter said isn't wrong. I've heard rumors about this girl. She's innocent. Step aside, I want to talk to her. This makes the hidden personality within him curious. Who is he talking to? Yes, less than a second later, he obediently starts talking as if nothing happened. I'm sorry, I have to apologize for what just happened. Maybe I was a bit hasty. As soon as she utters a word, Golden interrupts. I just want to know what happened to Queen. Feeling there's no more danger, Layla sighs, retracting all the knives. I have nothing to say to you. She lets out a sigh and then bends down to pick up Queen's dirty clothes. Queen is in the hospital. If you want to know anything, go ask her yourself. But before leaving, Layla doesn't forget to remind Peter, the guy with glasses. A sincere reminder. You really should take him to get checked out. Makes the guy feel a bit awkward. I'm really sorry. He's not usually like this. That vague attitude only adds to her dissatisfaction. Just as they step away from the scene, Peter quickly supports his friend, asking Golden, Are you okay? Your actions today are really strange. Meanwhile, Golden is busy gritting his teeth, pulling the knife out of his leg. I'm fine. I'm still okay. But his once bright face is now shadowed, talking to himself like a madman. She ran away. How do you know she didn't trick you? Maybe we should confirm with Queen first. Stop it. I just want revenge. Let that beautiful girl have an accident on her way back, huh? His words keep ringing out. Can't you hear what I'm saying? Yeah, she's Queen's friend, so what, I don't like her. Me neither. This makes Peter scared, stepping back. Ugh, Golden. But when he sees him smiling blankly, he replies, Huh, what's wrong? The script that was about to come out of his mouth is abruptly cut off by the guy. No, it's nothing. At the same time, Face and Lupo are chatting boredly on their way back. It's not a big deal. They kicked us out of elementary school, so just fight. People like this won't be of any use later. Winning would be better, but now remembering the embarrassing situation earlier, Face sighs tiredly. It's all because of your idea. Now I'm so embarrassed. Who would have thought that statement would make him furious? Turns out it's Lupo who angrily grabs his buddy by the neck. You don't seem very pleased, do you? Do you want me to remind you about the distance between us? When he hears Face's hurried voice, I didn't mean it like that. The harsh tone of the guy slowly softens. You shouldn't complain to me. Not wanting to walk the same path, Lupo sulks and turns to go the other way. Tonight, I'll find that kid. If not, let him know that others will think we're easy to bully. Oxygen gradually fills his throat, making Face only able to whisper. As night falls, the moon rises high, illuminating everything. The loud sounds of Golden echo everywhere. How could they be so outrageous? Those jerks, I'm going to deal with them. Just wait and see. Quinn felt that the noise was disturbing others, so he slowly reminded them, but the teacher had already kicked them out of class. I doubt this will happen again. This made Peter and me feel like we had no choice but to comply with what was said. From now on, let's keep studying together. If anything happens, we can help each other out. I could sense the worry from my two friends, but I just smiled and said, It's okay, Golden. I told you you can't protect us forever. In the end, we still have to rely on ourselves. Luckily, this course suits me well and helps me learn a lot of new things. I heard my friend share, and he was right. I also learned quite a bit in the bare-handed class. Queen didn't mention it, but she showed curiosity when she accidentally saw Golden's injury. Oh no, Golden, what happened to your leg? The guy didn't want to talk about it. He just smiled awkwardly and walked away. Oh, this? Ha ha ha. It's nothing, just a few scratches from practice. Don't mind me, I'm just going to the restroom for a bit. I was just sitting there zoning out the whole time. As soon as the other person left, Peter quickly whispered, Queen Golden has been acting a bit strange lately. His mood has changed a lot, and he often talks to himself, which makes you worry even more. Is this happening again? Yeah, he sighed and shared earlier he got angry because he was worried about you. So he clashed with Layla and got hit in the leg by her. This only made the patient more feverish. Layla, no wonder, how is she doing? Upon hearing Peter's confirmation, Queen felt relieved. It's okay, just a bit scared. The tension in Queen's body gradually faded. Phew, that's good. I'll pretend I don't know about this to avoid provoking him further, but ignoring that the two felt disheartened and returned to the issue of Golden. But I really don't understand why. Why has Golden suddenly become like this? Could it really be a mental illness? Quinn didn't rule out this possibility. I'll find a chance to ask the doctor. Just then, Peter suddenly appeared. Quinn, it's getting dark. Should we head out? Peter and you both panicked, sweating. Quinn, I guess you won't be going back to the dorm tonight, huh? Yeah, I still have to stay in the hospital for 2 more days. All right, waiting for Queen to finish her sentence. Thank you all for visiting me. Golden didn't even notice the oddity and turned to leave. Well, we'll head out first. What thanks? We're brothers, right? While the two friends were busy chatting as they walked out of the medical area. What do you want to eat tonight? My treat, really? Then let's go have some pork ribs, okay? Pork chop is the best. The duo Lupo and Face hiding behind the wall sighed in relief. I jumped almost walking straight into that big guy. What are you afraid of? Even if we bump into him, the two of us can handle him together. The painful memories from earlier flooded back, making his voice more bitter than ever. I need to be sharp later, lure that kid to a place without cameras, then strike. He also coldly agreed, no problem. Lupo and Face hiding in the hallway saw Queen push the door open and step out. He's out. Go follow him. You went straight through the noisy crowd in the hallway. Dinner is so bland like watered-down soup. This is a hospital. Do you think this is your home where a chef cooks for you every day? Oh, come on, I told you I'm fine. You don't need to visit me every day. I'm the one supervising you. You have to take your medicine on time. It's really annoying. Face quietly followed, guessing Queen was heading upstairs by the way he walked. This way, he thought, feeling pleased. The rooftop. Just then, Face turned back to signal his buddy, I'll follow behind you. Go round to the other side and wait for my signal. We'll surround him at the same time. Lupo understood and nodded. He quietly opened the door leading to the rooftop, but the scene before him left Face bewildered. Because there was no one on the rooftop. Just then, the person he thought had vanished appeared behind him. What, you were looking for me? The intense killing intent from Queen made Face shiver involuntarily. When he turned to get a better look, he saw that grotesque face and sharp claws closing in on his neck. After waiting for a while without any news, Lupo became anxious and went to find Face. Why hasn't he sent me any news? What is he hesitating about? So useless. But just as he reached the rooftop door, He immediately froze. Lupo's face went pale, his eyes wide as he witnessed the scene before him. What the hell? Right in front of him was Queen on top of his teammate feasting on blood that stained the floor red. Although Lupo was terrified, he bravely took a fighting stance and shouted, "Get away from him!" Queen paused his meal and turned to look at him, a smile as if he had found his next prey. That expression sent Lupo into a panic. Ben decided to strike first, cursing under his breath. Damn it! But Queen easily dodged that attack. In the blink of an eye, he circled behind Lupo. As Lupo turned, he pulled out a sharp bone from his wrist while silently lamenting, "His movements are too fast." The claws sparked as they lunged at the opponent's head, but Lupo managed to raise his weapon in time to defend. However, due to insufficient strength, he could only hold on for a moment, feeling that the power was almost monstrous. This won't work. Queen used one hand to restrain Lupo while the other prepared to use his fiery spatula to attack. In this precarious situation, Lupo had no choice but to play his trump card, first taking a deep breath. Then Lupo spat out long, sharp bones like stakes, successfully knocking Queen away. He slid along the floor, using his legs to regain control of his speed. Queen, in pain, clutched his trembling arm. Blood continued to pour out. Seeing this, Lupo smugly aimed his sharp arrow at him and sighed in relief. If it weren't for this defensive measure, I would really be scared of taking your hit. He originally intended to counterattack. Now it's my turn to strike. Get ready, but Lupo quickly realized something was off. The wound on his arm was horrifying, and he focused intently on Queen's arm, which was drenched in blood. Just a few seconds had passed, and the wound had vanished completely. It's healed already. Lupo's heart raced with alarm as Queen fixed her fierce gaze on him. How could there be such a monster hidden in our academy? Why didn't anyone say a word? He immediately leaped up, controlling the flames to move at his fingertips, rushing toward Lupo, who was on guard. Learning from the last encounter this time, Queen transformed her fiery arrow into a sharp tip and directly struck at his pressure points. Lupo's weapon shattered into pieces, and he couldn't help but panic. My bone is broken. However, since Queen continued her assault, he had no choice but to grit his teeth and raise a defensive barrier around himself. The bone spikes jutted out, but even with that, Lupo still felt a significant pressure. No, I can't withstand this power. The attack frequency was too high. After just a few moves, Queen punched through the bone barrier and lightly touched his cheek, leaving Lupo with the profound realization defense couldn't hold against her. As a result, he lost control and was thrown straight into the rooftop railing. The moon in the night sky still emitted a strange red light. Suddenly, a system notification appeared, announcing the completion of the mission to defeat the duo. It wasn't until Lupo's soul was nearly leaving his body that Queen finally relented. Lifting his head to check the status bar at that moment, voices from two women came from the rooftop door. It wasn't Helen on duty tonight, was it? "Why are you here?" She said her boyfriend rarely returned from the front lines and wanted to go on a date, so she asked me to switch shifts. The older nurse, who had just pushed the door open, praised her kindness. "Hurry and clean up all this." The face of the young nurse had turned ashen, devoid of any blood. "Look over there." The two hurriedly checked the condition of the two unconscious figures on the ground. They were still breathing. "Call for an ambulance. Call the control room on the rooftop. 2 students have been attacked and are unconscious. We need a doctor and security immediately." Meanwhile, Queen had managed to hide behind a pile of containers in a corner of the rooftop. "This isn't good. If I go down the stairs now, I'll risk being discovered." He was secretly observing the situation while thinking of a way to escape. But if he kept hiding here, when the security arrives, it would be even more troublesome. Queen muttered under her breath. "What should I do?" Suddenly, Layla appeared unexpectedly from behind. "What are you hiding here for?" He instinctively reacted, grabbing her tightly while she panicked, signaling for help. But with her mouth covered, she could only make meaningless sounds until she regained her composure. Queen recognized her and let go. "Layla, why are you here? I'm sorry, I didn't expect that just wanting to see you would almost get me killed. I saw you hiding over there, so I came to find you." Layla looked surprised at the hospital room in the opposite building and curiously speculated. "Did you fly over here?" "That's impressive." Layla, flattered by the compliment, forgot all about the pain she had just felt. "That's right. Want me to show you how?" A group of doctors and riot police rushed to the rooftop following the report. "Where are the patients?" "Over here, you all spread out and check the scene." The police quickly set up a perimeter, securing all exits. This remark sparked a bold idea in Queen's mind. She hurriedly grabbed Layla. "Quickly take me over there!" She flustered, trying to stop him. But before she could finish her sentence, he hugged Layla and jumped over the railing. Wait! In an instant, both were pulled down by gravity. Queen frantically flailed and kicked in the air. "Why can't I fly?" Layla was equally panicked, scolding loudly, "I told you to wait a bit." At that moment, she formed a seal and chanted a spell, creating a layer of air surrounding their bodies. Thus, both avoided a disastrous fate. Queen felt incredibly excited. "Wow, I can really fly." Layla warned, "Don't move." They successfully landed on the hospital bed in Layla's room, albeit in a rather awkward position. After a brief exchange, she asked, "If it's just one person, I can handle it." Controlling two people like this is already the limit. "I didn't expect your ability could be used this way. Now, can you tell me what happened? If you don't, it will take too long." Even though it was midnight, the buildings in the city center were still brightly lit. After chatting for a while, Layla had understood everything, so it was those guys more annoying than flies. "What are you planning to do now if they reveal your secret?" Queen casually leaned back against the pillow, her expression unconcerned. "Don't worry. Even if they clearly see my face, there's no evidence to say I did it. Besides, revealing this would be like boasting that I was defeated, so there's no way I can let that happen." You suddenly changed the subject, not talking about me, her, and Golden. What's going on with that? Just hearing that name made me want to avoid that crazy guy. After hesitating for a while, she finally pointed to her forehead and reminded you to be careful. There's definitely something wrong with that guy. Queen walked down the hospital corridor, pondering the big issue. You were recalling what Layla had revealed last night. You must have noticed how that guy changes his personality or talks to himself, right? I suspect this is a form of mental illness. Once triggered, he'll go off the rails and his behavior will be completely uncontrollable. Queen couldn't help but worry. Could Golden be mentally ill? Does this have anything to do with his superpowers? Suddenly, a trembling voice called your name from behind. "Hey, Queen! Sorry to bother you for a moment." Queen recognized that face. "Oh, it's you. You're quite polite today. What's going on?" Lupo, still shaken from the fight, expressed his feelings. "About yesterday, I'm sorry. I used to be so arrogant, but now I feel like a coward. We hurt you during practice. After thinking it over, I realized that was really out of line, so I feel I should sincerely apologize to you." Lupo even widened his eyes in disbelief. Why the sudden change? Turns out Lupo was afraid of retaliation, so he rushed to meet you to plead for mercy. "You see, last night, I promised not to reveal anything about you, so please forgive me." But those words made Queen silent, threatening from last night. What happened last night? Lupo realized he had slipped up and panicked, almost crying. "Nothing happened. I didn't see anything last night. I didn't meet you. Please give me a chance. I absolutely won't bother you again." In fact, you didn't care about that guy's pathetic life, so you casually waved him off. "All right, you can go." "Okay, I'll leave right away." "Thank you, boss, for sparing my life." Queen turned to look at him with disgust. That weakling is scared of the strong." Layla suddenly rushed over, looking very urgent. "Finally, Queen found you. You were confused." "Wait, Layla, what's going on?" She brought shocking news that left Queen stunned for a while. "Something big has happened. I heard one of the people you attacked last night died. In the morgue." A low voice echoed with the information on the board. The deceased's name was Face of First-Year Student, Time of Death, 11:50 last night. The cause of death was excessive blood loss. There were many lacerations on the body suspected to have been attacked by some wild beast. But River didn't believe this situation. He raised a big question. How could this happen? The school's security is extremely strict. Normally, wild beasts shouldn't be able to break in. Not just him, but the person next to him felt the same way. When he was brought in, he was still conscious, right? Haley gently explained. When he was brought in, he was unconscious. Moreover, it's very strange. He was brought in twice last night. Twice. Yeah, the first time was around 9 p.m. He was brought in with a guy named Lupo. At that time, both had bite marks on their necks. But when they woke up, they both said they couldn't see what attacked them. Just a few hours later, the nurse on duty brought him in again. She calmly recalled the words of the male nurse, Dr. Halley. This student was found collapsed in front of the hospital gate. He lost too much blood. His pupils were no longer reactive. He was taken to the emergency room immediately. observing all the remaining traces on Face's body. Are you kidding me? The wounds don't look like bite marks at all. They're not those kinds of wounds. This injury looks very much like a snake bite, but much larger. Hallie agreed and raised another issue. Moreover, I don't understand why it healed so quickly. Now there are absolutely no traces left. And River asked further, why do you think that? But he didn't get to finish his sentence before the girl beside him interrupted. There are no clues at all. First, let's invite all the people involved to take statements. At this moment in this combat class, the students were starting to gossip about this drama. Have you heard anything? Yeah, I've heard. But I don't think it's very likely. It's really hard to recognize this kind of person. They're the scariest. Layla felt a bit uneasy. They only know how to talk trash behind others' backs. Quinn, who was involved, kept a cool head. Don't pay attention to them. Let them think what they want. Just then, the teacher called you. Quinn, the army has a few questions they want to ask you. Please go with them for a moment. Layla worriedly wanted to keep you back, but you calmly accepted. May I ask, what's going on? Leo used a soothing tone that made it hard for you to distinguish between truth and lies. When you get there, someone will explain to you. Don't worry too much. It's just a few normal questions. Yes, yes. Queen took off her gloves and agreed, but inside she was still very worried. Yes, I know already. Could it be that he has already revealed my secret? Layla firmly stood by Queen's side. If there's anything she hasn't said, Queen would have to leave. Don't worry, nothing will happen. I'll be back in a bit. Meanwhile, Leo lingered a bit longer, loudly reminding the students. Now, let's start practicing freely. Everyone be careful not to let anything happen. The group of students behind might have more stories to weave. Look, it's really suspicious. The military has sent someone over. Yeah, made whatever. You can't judge a book by its cover. Who would have thought that he looked so weak, yet was actually a ruthless person who would repay any grudge with blood? That's truly brutal. The coroner invited Queen to the table, asking her to sit down. Don't be tense. As long as you don't do anything wrong, there's nothing to worry about. In return, a sense of unease rose within him. There's a system here. Am I really not worried about anything? The person in front began analyzing the situation. I guess you've heard about a student named Face who unexpectedly died last night. Although we don't think a student without superpowers could be the culprit. But since you had a conflict during the practical training yesterday, we still need to invite you for a few questions. Now please place your hand on mine. Queen awkwardly placed her hand on the table like this. The girl complimented. That's right, very good. The system suddenly blushed, realizing the skill had been activated. Unable to refuse, Queen looked confused at the displayed text. What was she trying to do? The system's defense is ineffective. The other person then got straight to the point. Now answer me. You killed Face last night, didn't you? Queen's gaze seemed hypnotized. Not me. Then she returned to a state of alertness. The girl stood up and said, That's enough, ending the interview. Queen's face darkened at that moment. A flood of thoughts rushed through her mind. Did I get discovered just now? Her superpower could neutralize the system's defense. You, River, declare Queen Terran innocent. You can go back now. The words from the guy left Queen in disbelief. Is that it? It's over. The psychic added, That's right. Thank you for your cooperation. I'm really sorry for wasting your time. River smugly turned and left. I told you. He's innocent. Queen, come with me. Queen looked a bit dazed. It seemed she had asked him a few questions, but they were probably unrelated to superpowers. Yes, River facing you directly, we have no other leads now. Since there was no violation, let's just conclude it as an accident. The girl was not satisfied, rushing, Is that okay? But River was a bit angry and shifted the story in another direction. Just leave it as it is. If the superiors really want to investigate, they will return the report. If too stubborn, I worry about getting involved with those people. Sometimes knowing when to let go is better. Finally, Queen was released. Layla happily clung to her. That's great. Luckily, that person didn't ask too much. It was just an interrogation. Under her power, no one could lie, but Queen didn't think it was that simple. It's strange. They only confirmed that I wasn't the murderer. Let me go right away. I'm sure I just knocked that guy out and took a little blood. I absolutely couldn't have killed him. Who did this? There's something unusual ahead. Layla, isn't that your roommate? Layla became flustered upon seeing the scene before her. Why was she with those people? Those people seemed to be bullying Peter. You saw that too, right? Yeah, that's right. Queen walked straight over, calling out Peter's name. Queen's face turned pale, eyes wide open. Peter must be being threatened by them. Layla stood behind me, trying to pull Queen back, her small face filled with worry. Wait, look over there. Another good friend of yours is over there. At that moment, Gooden rushed in decisively. Hey, Peter, you're not in any trouble, are you? Queen's friends chimed in. What is this guy Gooden talking about? What trouble could there be hanging out with us? The ponytail guy leaned in close to Peter, asking in a firm yet gentle tone. Right, Peter, you're good, right? Peter, looking worried, replied, Yeah, that's right. Gooden frowned in anger and dissatisfaction. Peter, come have lunch with me. Seeing this, Jelly raised her hand. You're being really annoying. Don't you see us eating together already? She added. Can't he have any other social relationships besides you? Or do you see him as your property now? Golden's face furrowed in disbelief. He could only stand there, helplessly calling out Peter's name. The ponytail guy threw his arm around Peter, urging him, Come on, let's go. Anyway, we're done eating. Let's leave the spot for other classmates who need it. Useless stuff should be left for the useless. Peter seemed to be trying to explain. Gooden, just like they said, I'm here voluntarily. Veli stood there and added, Don't pay attention to him anymore. Let's go check out the VR training room. After that, the ponytail group walked away. Oh, that sounds cool. How about it? You've never experienced it, Peter replied. Yeah, that's right. I've never been. Gooden could only watch them leave in silence, his face sad. Queen, you saw that, right? I thought Peter was in trouble. But he said he wasn't. Gooden looked straight ahead with a serious expression. I don't mind him making new friends, but I feel like those people won't be that nice. Seeing this, Queen patted him on the shoulder to comfort him. I feel the same way. Let's go back to the dorm and ask him properly. Layla, standing behind, said to Queen, Is that so? I feel like you're still quite concerned about him making new friends. Queen's face was stunned. Layla and Gordon quickly rebutted. I know there's some misunderstanding between us. I really want to apologize, but Layla firmly rejected the apology. Turning away, she made her final request. No, it's fine. If you really regret it, just keep your distance from me. That's what I want most. Queen placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. Gooden, I know you have your own struggles, but we're friends. You can reach out to me anytime. You can also find me to talk. Gooden avoided Queen's gaze. I know. I want to explain to you guys, but I'm afraid you won't accept it. He turned back to look at Queen, expressing his determination. Tonight, when Peter comes back, we'll talk it out together. Queen looked at Golden and agreed. Okay, see you tonight. Layla faced Queen with a teasing look. So you're planning to share your secret with them too? Queen said uncertainly. About this. Let's see how it goes. But that night, I waited until morning and neither of them returned. Queen sat on the top bunk, head bowed, resting her face on her knees. Thinking that neither of them answered their phones or replied to messages, could something have happened? Even during class, she thought she had to go to school. If she still didn't see them in class, she would report it to the military. An announcement was made. All first-year students, please move towards the auditorium. Queen stood watching a crowd of students buzzing with excitement. Is there some temporary activity in the auditorium? I haven't heard anything, but anyway, it's not class, so it's fine. Let's go, let's go. Layla appeared from behind, asking, What happened in the auditorium? He replied, I don't know, but Golden and Peter didn't come back last night. I'm worried they might be involved in this. Layla continued, Don't think too much about it. Just go over there and see. But at the auditorium, some people were discussing, What's going on? Is there a performance? The crowd of students looked up at the stage and someone asked, Who's performing? Call the senior performers or some officers to show you there are relatives who are bothered by the speeches, feeling like they are attending a leadership lecture and people are complaining and comparing it to going to school. Just let me go. Compared to listening to the leaders talk, I'd rather go to school. People are showing their frustration with someone else. So the leaders care about you too. Don't be clueless. Layla turned to Queen and whispered, This isn't right. There's no girl here at all. Queen replied in surprise, Yeah, what's strange? Up front, it's all seniors. She saw Jelly standing in the crowd of students and thought to herself, Jelly, why is he standing among the second-year students? The ponytail stepped onto the stage, speaking in a formal tone. Welcome all students present today. Yes, I have prepared a special activity for everyone to look forward to. The students murmured among themselves. He said it's a special activity. Could it be that a celebrity is coming? No way, this is a military school. He raised his hand high, speaking seriously. I think you all know that this school has always had some valuable systems, but the reason these valuable systems have been maintained until today is for a reason. He looked down at this crowd at Queen and Layla with a warning and contemptuous gaze. However, some arrogant freshmen wanted to challenge him, and today I want to talk to you, those who refuse to comply with the system. Irene stood silently behind the crowd watching the unfolding events. A voice rang out, "What will happen next?" Seeing the scene before them, all three male students were stunned and horrified. What's going on here? Do you know? Oh my God, both Queen and Layla were horrified and terrified seeing Golden tightly bound to a pole on stage. A painful scream echoed and everyone shouted, "Golden!" Blood was gushing from his head and soaking his shirt. He had a pained expression, gasping for breath, but still tried to hold himself together. At the same time, the ponytail approached Golden, sneering, and with a smirk, waved his hand as someone pushed a cart over. Everyone, don't misunderstand. For those who obediently listen to me, I'm still willing to teach you a few things. Come here. He reached out to grab a round ball from the cart, saying, I think you all know that the battle between Earthlings and the Dan Key tribe has had two turning points. The ponytail walked while lifting the ball, mumbling. One was the large-scale awakening of superpowers, and the other was the technological breakthrough when integrating spirit beasts into weapons. I hold in my hand a primary spirit beast ball. Activating it will unleash the power of the spirit beast used to create weapons. The higher the level, the greater the power unleashed. So today you need to learn how to activate and use these weapons. Ken clenched his teeth, clearly dissatisfied. How dare he gather everyone in the auditorium and brazenly do these things? Isn't he afraid of the academy holding him accountable? Suddenly, a male student raised his hand and spoke, Excuse me, may I ask which teacher entrusted you to teach us? Even so, first-year students shouldn't be learning these things right. Moreover, what's going on with that guy who's tied up? Veli turned around with an indignant expression and sighed, his gray eyes showing no compassion. Sure enough, he punched the student in the face. That brat should learn to shut up. The punched student's face was knocked sideways. This is the ponytail standing on stage, calmly addressing, My dear classmates, do you have any other questions? Oh, who dares to speak? A silence that was frightening. He cheerfully continued, Great! The ponytail transferred power into that ball, making it glow. Remember, you need to focus on this ball. Imagine it as a part of your body to transfer power into. When the ball changes color, it means you've successfully activated it. He threw the ball towards Golden. The meaning was as clear as day. The ponytail's face was crazed, and the next step was simply to throw it at the target. Simple, right? In the crowd, a girl whispered to the person next to her. The target he mentioned. Could it be that guy? She was angry too, but only dared to whisper, Yeah, probably. Damn it, isn't he openly making us the bad guys? It's fine. Suddenly the girl was pointed out. You come up here. She was startled, her face turning pale. Veli threw the ball to her, and she panicked. No, I can't. The ponytail, hearing this, feigned regret and sighed. Lower your head, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If you can't do it, I have no other choice. He abruptly swung his hand, throwing the ball into her stomach, with a decisive motion, without a second thought. She didn't have time to dodge. The only thing that could happen was that ball hitting her in the stomach, causing her to fly back, her mouth foaming, her face a picture of horror. Her friend beside her looked at her lying still on the ground and shouted, Little lamb, take care of the horse, brush her hair. The expression on his face grew increasingly impatient, his tone sounding like he was giving orders. What's going on with these first-year students? I told you all this, and you still don't understand. When I ask you to do something, you have to do it. Got it. Veli placed the ball in the hands of the friend who had just shouted, Come on, it's your turn. He nervously accepted the ball, both scared and hesitant. Oh, right, he said, stepping in front of Golden, the horse, hoping he could perform better. Everyone was watching him. He hesitated, throwing the ball away. I'm sorry, Golden. His eyes shut tight, unable to witness the sight of him tied to the post in such a pitiful state and still having to learn from this throw. He turned away, filled with guilt, while the horse laughed triumphantly, spreading its arms. See? It's that easy to do. So who's next? Layla watched the scene, unable to hold back, whispering to Queen, Those jerks are so shameless. Queen, we need to find a chance to rush outside and contact the teacher. I can go look for Mr. Rio first. He definitely won't just stand by. He didn't respond, just hurried toward the stage. After the horse declared, if no one volunteers, I'll randomly choose someone. Layla looked at Queen's fast-moving back, confused. Queen, what are you doing? He eagerly rushed forward, extending his hand towards the horse. I'll go first. I want to try. The horse looked a bit surprised, smirking, but didn't think much of it, since they were dorm mates. This is interesting. Veli handed the magical ball to him. Veli, he heard obediently following along. Yes. He received the ball cheerfully, but then his face shifted to a devilish grin. His eyes turned from white to black, and his gray pupils turned red, looking even more sinister than the horse. A group of people whispered disdainfully behind Queen. What does he mean? Isn't that guy really close with Golden? Others whispered, yeah, he stepped up now. Is he in a hurry to surrender? The other characters also whispered, noticing his flattery. What a waste for Golden, who often takes care of him. He's such a disgusting piece of trash. I didn't expect his character to be trashy too. The horse smirked. Hurry up and activate it. Don't mind what others think. He held the black gem, his face slightly darkened, thinking he needed to deal with these people as quickly as possible. The toughest one was this level 6 guy, and the level 4, Jelly, was also a hassle. Jelly looked at him with a wary expression. But Queen was still lost in thought. Besides, there were 8 people from the second-year class surrounding them, including 2 beside Golden. Golden's face was pale, and next to him were 2 people like guards. He looked at the people in the audience, who appeared anxious and uneasy. Even though we had the numbers, they were all very scared. We needed someone to step up and lead. At that moment, Queen spotted Iron in the crowd. He had a bold thought. The strongest person was Iron. Let's give it a try. He impatiently urged, what are you waiting for? But Queen still held the black gem, looking pleased. Sorry, I still haven't grasped the trick. Let me try again. The crowd around him was noisy, mocking him. He's really useless. What a hassle. He can't even activate a weapon. Better to drop out and do something else. Suddenly, a system panel appeared, notifying him, primary beast weapon magical beast ball. After activation attack power 5%. Activate. Queen was surprised. Can this also be activated through the system? When he pressed to activate the black gem in his hand, it suddenly turned red, a red glow bursting forth. He looked at the gem in his hand, and the horse was shocked to see he could activate this. What's this brightness? Has he completely activated the beast ball? How is that possible? Isn't he supposed to be powerless? Moreover, he's only level 1, yet he's stepping closer to him holding the black gem that has turned red, shining brightly. I have something to say to everyone. Why do we want superpowers? Quinn's face was covered in blood, looking weak and fragile. Quinn, please. Quinn shouted loudly, swinging the gem forcefully towards a man standing near Golden. Why is everyone pushing themselves to the limit like this? Isn't it to protect those around us? The red gem flew hard towards the man, knocking him back. He groaned, his dark-haired face showing panic, not knowing what had just happened. What the? He exclaimed, pointing in shock. Everyone quickly catch him. What are you standing there for? Grab him, Queen shouted as he ran through the crowd, yelling, Get out of the way. Veli nimbly positioned himself to block Queen's escape. This guy really doesn't learn from experience. You think you can get away, he shouted. He picked up the red gem and threw it towards Chelly, who quickly dodged. You thought that would hit me, innocently, Queen replied, but I hit someone else. The red gem struck a man standing near Jelly in the forehead. His face lost patience as he shouted, Useless. His angry expression made everyone shout, Catch him! Don't let him escape! Everyone looked hesitant, but Layla shouted back at him. Why should we listen to you, just because you know how to use violence against others? The tail of the horse ignored him. Shut up, he told his subordinates. If that's the case, then I won't hold back anymore. Anyone who doesn't follow my orders, attack. A man with black hair gathered green energy around his palm and waved, sending a stream of blue light shooting out. The attack aimed straight at everyone, but suddenly the man's technique froze. A pair of feet in pink shoes stepped forward. I didn't want to interfere, but you attacked me first. She gritted her teeth. The curly-haired guy spoke up. What? The black-haired man whispered. All my attacks have been frozen. Iron holding a sword stood surrounded by a cold, icy aura. "Let me introduce myself. I'm Aaron Hurley," she said. The black-haired man had water powers, and the curly-haired guy had earth powers. The water user spoke, "I know her abilities are Ice-type level 5, which counters mine." The curly-haired guy replied, "Then let's cooperate. You attack with water towards her." But she froze the water. "You think you can transform water? What about earth? Let's see how you plan to win against all of us by yourself." 2 arrows wrapped in purple light shot towards the curly-haired guy, startling him into dodging. The arrows struck the ground, creating cracks. His face was panicked, not understanding what was happening. Layla." Layla appeared standing close to Iron to fight alongside her. "I'm here too," she replied. Peter quickly covered his head, trembling as the space around them suddenly exploded. Unable to control his emotions, he shouted, "It's all my fault! It's all my fault, my fault!" But while Peter was confused, wondering why the plan had changed, wasn't it supposed to be at the VR training room? Why are we at the ceremony hall then? He had noticed, but pretended not to know because someone had been following them. "I'm talking about you, Guden." Guden regretted his reckless actions from before. "Peter, I'm sorry for dragging you into this. Run, there's no way the horse will let the enemy go easily. You dared to lay hands on my people. This debt must be settled with you." He wasn't afraid and was determined to protect Peter. "If anything happens, aim for me. Don't touch Peter." He didn't know what to do in this situation. Guden was knocked down by someone else. "You should go." "Go. The horse gives a warning. This is none of your business. If you don't want to die, keep your mouth shut." Now Peter felt utterly useless, unable to bravely protect his friends. "I put Golden in danger facing those high-level guys. I don't even have the courage to fight back. I'm a coward." The insults brought him back to reality. "Damn it." Peter panicked, pulling his hands away from his ears. Queen relentlessly attacked the opponent with all his strength. "So what if they're high-level? Damn it. Don't think I'm afraid of you." He still couldn't escape the psychological shadow. Why can Queen face them directly? Peter questioned himself, trying to motivate himself. Am I going to stay like this forever? I can't do anything at all. He carefully analyzed the current situation. The level 4 abilities and those before were indeed worlds apart, even if his abilities seemed normal. But in practice, they were much stronger than him. A system quickly provided information for the player to survey Valley Bridge. Life value 25 out of 25. Race human. Ability hardening. Blood type B positive. With every strike from the opponent, Queen could feel it. Whether in close combat or localized defense, there were almost no weaknesses. Veli immediately used hardening power. He was knocked back, but still calculated even the long-range attack methods were diverse. No matter if it's close combat or local defense, there seems to be no weaknesses at all. Immediately using his hardened strength, he was knocked back, but still calculating even the long-range attack methods were diverse. So, Queen just pulled out the sharp weapon that hurt me. This is the gap in our fighting skills, huh? I wish someone would teach me how to use my abilities. Just as he was wishing for that, he was transported to another space. What is happening? It displayed a message on the screen, a notification system requesting to activate the close combat training lock at level 1. Confirming this, Kian stood there in shock. Why is the combat training lock appearing? Just when I was fighting someone, this whole line suddenly popped up in front of him. The time in this space doesn't sync with the outside world. Queen was startled, but instead of getting angry, he gently explained, "Welcome to the basic unarmed combat course. I don't even know how long it's been. If you can see me, it means you've become a member of us." Queen was worried that what he was seeing was just an illusion, not a real entity. Is this just an image? You mean a vampire? A vampire is just improvising in front of him. This is the first lesson. I'll teach you 2 unarmed combat skills. But Queen didn't think much of it. Does it take that long? They completely didn't hear what I said. But it's fine. I need to learn skills too. He specifically introduced to Queen 2 exclusive skills, 1 offensive and 1 defensive supporting each other. First is the defensive skill called Quick Step. Naturally, the attack speed couldn't keep up with his pace. Thanks to that explosive power, it made him think. How could this kid dodge all my attacks? Could it be that he's been hiding his strength? All along, Queen clearly understood the pros and cons of the skill and applied it in real combat. Quick Step allows movement instantly within a 5-meter range, making it hard for opponents to detect. The only issue is that it consumes a lot of stamina. With my current state, I can only use it 2 more times. Quick step. How could I not keep up with him? Don't get too cocky with your stamina. Let's see how long you can last. Quinn praised Veli's detection ability. He really is sharp. He put all his strength into a finishing punch. But this last time is enough. Before he could react, Queen punched him straight in the stomach. Veli thought he would fall for his petrification trap, so he confidently said, "You don't know how to learn from experience, do you?" He suddenly froze for 5 seconds, while the dragon just taught him how to increase the damage of his skills. As for the attack skill, it's about throwing punches like a traditional technique that can only be combined with many other attack skills. The attack power would double. Jelly staggered shocked sideways, knowing how dangerous it was. Bloodhunt Queen threw a mace at Jelly forcefully. Jelly didn't have time to prepare for Queen's dangerous attack. As he fell to the ground, whispers arose. Jelly has been defeated. Other players were stunned by Jelly's quick defeat. Are you crazy? How could someone without abilities do this? The information board immediately updated the mission system. Defeat Jelly. Brand random mission reward experience. Plus 80 additional rewards. All attributes. +1 100% completion progress strength. +1 agility. +1 stamina. +1. He smiled brightly at the results he achieved. Finally won. A surprising rope was thrown in front of Queen, hitting his hand hard, causing Queen's health to drop. He didn't expect to find himself in this situation. Qian had just taken a hit. Just one hit cost me 7 health points. The health bar automatically regenerates HP life value 6 out of 20. The ponytail was furious when Queen wouldn't listen. I have to admit, you've really caused me trouble. He continued to threaten to make Queen scared. I don't know how you did that. But once I take action myself, everything will end here. He wasn't scared at all. Instead, he challenged him. You really look like a big character. Queen quickly dodged to the side before being blown up. He used Quick Step to stretch the distance from the ponytail. This guy is really strong. I absolutely can't let myself get hit again. Quinn immediately charged in to attack him. The ponytail just smirked, his gaze darkening. His strike couldn't unleash its full power because the ponytail had vanished. Yet he missed. Something just whizzed past. Quinn couldn't hit him. He began to doubt life. How strange, he always seemed to be one step ahead of me, as if he could predict my actions. Queen was exhausted from using too much energy without landing many attacks. His stamina was nearly at its limit. He could only use Quick Step one more time, and his health bar was almost depleted. Am I really going to die here today? He gasped for breath, truly unable to smile anymore. Layla elsewhere had to retreat from the enemy's attack. A splash of water swept across her hand, injuring her. The mysterious figure deliberately mocked Layla. Why don't you keep using your bow and arrow? She cursed him fiercely. You jerk. Don't get too cocky. Someone behind me, Layla, is screaming to let me go. Guden, I don't understand why you're giving orders. Just hurry up and touch me a little. That's all it takes. Layla looked at him with a look of disgust. What is this? It's not the right time, you creep. Guden is losing his cool more and more. What is she thinking? Just touch anywhere, it's fine. Hurry up! I still have to help Queen. The girl, confused, followed his words. Wait, is it really like this? Here, Golden's power has miraculously returned. All right then. You're arguing with yourself, feeling helpless. You're really useless, can't even escape like this. Shut up. If you want to help, let me handle it. It's because that bastard's ability is too weak. Layla silently admitted in her mind, he really is a creep. Guden suddenly fell silent. His green hair sarcastically commented, This is interesting. Now that it has come to this, what else can you do? The girl understood the situation at a glance. This creep with multiple personalities is about to act up again. Golden seemed to be going insane, his whole body out of control. Someone shouted in surprise, What the hell, he's free! He managed to break free from the binding puppet technique. His steps radiated terrifying energy. Guden soared high, surprising the other players. A source of immense power appeared before the horse's tail. He confidently introduced himself. I'm Black, finally back. The horse's tail was not only unamazed, but also gave a lesson. So you've broken free. But as a person, you must learn to take lessons from experience. Don't you remember what happened last time when you came to fight me? Gordon directly stated his opinion. Defeating the weak is something to be proud of. I'm different from Warden, not easy to provoke. He pretended to sigh, as if unaware of what was happening. I don't understand what you're saying, but it doesn't matter. The horse's tail once again created an explosion in the air with the whip. Go ahead, Dai. The whip must stop in Gudin's hands. He gripped it tightly, his face showing no emotion. The horse's tail was equally tense. This guy's power is different. Yes, Gudin doesn't want him to stay here any longer. All right, Queen has entrusted this place to me. Go help someone else. Queen agreed with his decision. Be careful, his abilities are quite strange. Gudin also remembered what he warned me about. He took back the whip, accompanied by a threat. If you don't remember, then I'll teach you again. He gathered energy into 2 orbs. The horse's tail whipped strongly towards Golden, who easily dodged the attack. He quickly grabbed part of the whip. Gudin jumped up just in time before it struck down. The green-haired guy behind supported him successfully. He gave him a punch to wake him up. The horse's tail thought Gudin couldn't stir up any trouble. Nothing new, just wanting to use beast essence to shoot me right. Those beast essences were immediately launched by him. He didn't care much. You know this move is useless against me. Queen didn't leave, but quietly observed from the side. Before Warden shot the beast essence, he already knew. Moreover, every time he could dodge the attack accurately. Could it be that guy's ability is... He accurately predicted just from the small details. Gudin, of course, ignored his criticism. Who cares? Do you know what I want to do? What I want to do, the horse's tail showed astonishment. You've prepared thoroughly, even if you know it won't stop the horse's tail. He hurriedly turned to look at the beast essence shot earlier. Gudin quietly executed his plan. Only now did he understand everything. Could it be that he deliberately shot off target? Still too naive. Don't think I only know how to dodge. 2 sources of energy simultaneously rushed towards the horse's tail. He didn't expect to find himself in this situation. The water absorbed the falling drops of blood mixing into it. The horse's tail was so angry, he laughed hysterically. He had to admire his ability. It was my oversight. Unexpectedly, you hid this trump card. Even the horse's tail found it hard to believe. I didn't expect you could use 2 types of abilities at the same time. Quinn was surprised. He was in total confusion. How is this possible? Quinn tried to recall the previous situation. He discovered a purple thread had wrapped around Golden's hand. Oh, right. At that moment, 2 streams of purple and blue energy were swirling around Golden. After careful observation, he realized one thing. Golden could now use 2 types of abilities simultaneously. The horse's tail saw the water power of Golden. He laughed with delight. All right, I have to say, things have finally gotten a bit more interesting. The horse's tail had a cunning look on his face. He snapped his fingers, and a golden light suddenly flashed. However, it's not just you who can retain power. The ponytail swung the golden whip in his hand, striking a few times as he proudly stared at Golden. I have my own trump card too. Queen and Layla, who had been watching from the side, couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. That's his soul weapon. He's awakened it for the 2nd time. Queen turned to Layla, questioning her. What's this about the 2nd awakening? Layla calmly explained. I've heard that those with abilities can use their superpowers to awaken a 2nd time, and after that, they'll form a unique weapon within their body. The ponytail wielded the golden whip to attack Golden. Unlike the beast world, which was made from beast spirits, not everyone could fully use it. It all depended on the individual. It's about whether someone has the talent to awaken or not. Uden transformed water energy into a shield, running while skillfully dodging the ponytail's strikes, waiting for the right moment to counterattack. Guden quickly spotted an opening and reached out using his purple power to strike the body of the whip. But the plan failed. Guden couldn't match the whip's strength. He struggled to turn and use his purple power to defend himself while Queen watched anxiously. I need to help Guden, Queen exclaimed, but before he could take a few steps, Layla stopped him, advising, Don't act recklessly. The gap in our levels is too big. We can't help him. Queen opened his tablet to observe calculating. He had already depleted too much of his blood reserves and had no more backup. He was at 18 out of 20 levels. I wonder if my life is decreasing. Am I going to die? Queen turned back, needing Layla's help. Layla, I need you to help me replenish a bit. Layla agreed, but it seemed she misunderstood Queen's intent, shyly stammering, I'm very willing. It's just that there are too many people here for us to do that. Without waiting for Layla to finish her sentence, Queen quickly grabbed her hand and ran off. Let's go to the back. Layla was dragged away, unable to resist, only able to whimper. Is this really necessary? Not good, not good. A brilliant golden light gathered from all sides into one point as the ponytail aimed directly at Golden, striking with the whip and distorting the ground. Fortunately, Golden nimbly dodged. If he got hit by that whip, it would be over. Before Golden could react, the ponytail struck again. This time, the ponytail didn't just attack. He swung the whip to bind Golden, wanting to restrict his movements. Guden suddenly shouted, "Ouch!" The ponytail, no longer holding back, wildly lashed out. Guden was tightly bound, feeling smug. "Let's see where you can run now." Restricted in his movements, Guden gritted his teeth and summoned his water power to fight back. The water blade was extremely sharp. Just one cut could cut the bindings into pieces. Golden transformed the water power into a foothold, using it as leverage to bounce up and dodge the finishing blow from the ponytail. The ponytail, disgusted and contemptuous, threw away the useless whip in his hand, sneering at Golden. The battle of the trapped beast raged on water energy surging around Golden. He was frustrated and unwilling, thinking, if only this body hadn't been so heavily injured before. Guden raised his head, his golden hair swaying with his movements. "Do you think a soul weapon can solve this for us?" This time, everyone agrees, right? Golden's face darkened, looking more decisive as he coldly stated, "Get that kid out of here." Suddenly, a loud noise erupted, shaking the entire space. Guden, standing far away, jumped in surprise. A woman stood blocking the door with an authoritative voice, immediately commanding, "Stop everything!" Her shout startled the ponytail, who panicked, facing the imposing figure looking down from above. "I warn you seriously before I get angry." Peter peeked from behind the large door, quietly observing the situation inside. The ponytail abruptly turned away, exhaling a frustrated sigh. Face filled with anger, spoke up. "Are you ready to face the consequences?" The ponytail carelessly replied, "Whatever you say. After all, you're just the sergeant in charge of training the small team. Injured people go to the hospital for treatment. The rest immediately return to the dormitory. No one is allowed outside without my orders. Is that clear?" Everyone responded in unison, "Yes." They helped Queen while expressing concern. "Not good, the military has intervened." "How's your injury, Queen?" Although he looked quite battered, he replied, "I'm recovering. It's nothing serious." Hearing this, they said, "That's good. We need to sneak away during the chaos before we get pulled for a hospital check." Bitter ran from afar. "Golden, I'm here to take you to the hospital." Golden realized it was that kid coming to find the sergeant. Bitter felt extremely guilty. "I'm sorry, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have tricked you into coming here." Seeing Bitter like this, Guden said, "Why are you crying? You're still rambling on to comfort me. It's just a broken arm, not like I'm dying." "Don't make me more upset, you black horsetail." He stared intently in the direction Peter left, and you were so scared you turned your head away, not daring to look at him. Guden was rambling on, completely confusing. "What's wrong, Peter? You're changing the subject. Let's keep helping Guden out the door." "No, it's nothing. We're going." The sunset is slowly setting. At this moment in the office, the black horsetail was constantly complaining, "Damn it, it's so unlucky. So many people act like they don't see anything. If only Face would come and stop us this time, then I'd probably be facing some discipline." The other man in the room reassured, "Calm down, it'll be fine. Colonel Duke, the one in charge of the second year, assures you that with me here you're safe." "No one will do anything to you," he replied. "That's the best way. I'm just following your orders, but if the higher-ups find out—" Duke clenched the cigar in his hand and shouted angrily, "Are you questioning me?" He quickly retracted his attitude. "I'm sorry, Colonel. I misspoke." Duke turned around and approached him. "Good. You're smart and know how to listen to me. Of course I won't let you suffer." He leaned in, placing a hand on the shoulder of the black horse tail. "But first you have to make sure that no one knows about our little secret, okay?" He hurriedly replied, "Yes, Duke." With a dangerous glance at the academy leader, "I'll handle it well. Yes, and you have to do your part too." The black horsetail could only hurriedly respond, "Yes." He plopped down in a chair and wondered, "I heard a first-year snitch to Face, right?" The black horsetail frowned and spoke, "Don't worry, I know what to do." In the academy office, someone announced, "Today we're meeting here." In the room, there were the blind swordsman Leo Dr. Halley and Face. That voice continued to speak to discuss how to handle the violence caused by the second-year students. He continued, "I think everyone has seen the report. I invite Colonel Duck to speak first about how he wants to punish them." After all, the second year is under your responsibility. Duck angrily threw the stack of reports down. Punish! I don't see why we need to punish anyone. He began to explain. If everyone has read the report, then you should know that the cause of this incident was Golden from the first year. If he hadn't attacked the second-year student first, it wouldn't have led to their retaliation. Duckenface remained silent in the face of his explanation. Duck continued to defend his point. This is a military school. Students should learn to use their fists to communicate. After all, it's about being on the battlefield. Then it's still about whose fists are harder right. He turned to Nay, then what do you think? Me. Then Nathan, the person in charge of the first year, took the candy he was chewing out of his mouth and said, I don't oppose them fighting noisily, but I hope the second-year students don't use their seniority to command the first years. They're only a year ahead. No one gives them that right. Nathan spoke up. I agree, Duck chimed in. I will take responsibility for implementing additional measures to prevent conflicts, he announced. All right then. Since no one has any objections, let's put this matter aside for now. Next, I want to focus on discussing the case of a first-year student who died, he said. I can allow injured students, but I cannot allow anyone to die ambiguously in the academy. He frowned and continued, anyone with clues or if anyone discovers the culprit can deal with them on the spot. He decisively ordered. Queen stood in the room watching the guards patrol strictly, then spoke up. It seems the security measures have become stricter. There are patrols everywhere, he said. It seems the situation in the second year is still drawing the school's attention. Gooden, bandaged all over, gave a thumbs up. More patrols are useless. To be completely safe, it still depends on whose fists are strong enough. He sighed inwardly. He recovers quickly, reminding himself to maintain a humble attitude. Recently, we've indeed attracted too much attention. We must ensure we're not targeted again. But Golden didn't seem worried at all. This time I got beaten up. I can only say I'm not strong enough yet. As long as you stand on top of the pyramid, you won't be bullied. He agreed with that opinion. You're right. Being strong enough is the most fundamental way to solve problems. Quien thought to himself, wanting to become stronger. Just learning combat skills isn't enough. I need to find ways to enhance real combat experience. If we could reactivate the teaching mode, that would be great. Golden suddenly suggested, how about we take a walk in the city? Besides buying supplies, we can also conveniently experience the latest VR training pod. Queen joyfully exclaimed in her head, that's exactly what I was thinking. He eagerly responded, that's the one where you can buy a combat room, right? I've wanted to experience this for a long time, and Gooden turned to Peter, who was sitting and reading a book, saying, Peter, you should come along too, which made him a bit flustered. He ran over smiling and put his arm around Peter's neck, stuttering, what are you talking about? Today you probably have nothing to do, right? Come with us, you hurriedly agreed. Sure, I'll go with you. Quinn, watching this scene, thought to himself that Peter still hadn't gotten over that issue and needed to find a way to help him rebuild his confidence. A scene changed to the bustling city center. They joyfully experienced various activities such as watching a movie, then moving on to the game area completely engrossed in playing. By the time they stepped out, it was already evening. Peter was excitedly discussing the movie with his two friends, saying, no, I think Watson got the ending wrong. It was clearly a surprise. Just then, someone called out, Peter, joyfully greeting him, surprised to see him here. He was about to talk to you, but in contrast to his cheerful demeanor, you were startled and exclaimed, oh, he asked if you have time. Peter stammered, I have time, and Gooden, sensing something was off, advised, hey, don't worry, if you need help, just tell us. Queen also chimed in, that's right, Peter, we're here for you. You don't need to be scared. Oh, that's rude, cutting off Peter. Your friend said that to others. It really hurts people. At this moment, Peter smiled and waved goodbye to his two friends, saying, no, you guys don't misunderstand. Oh, he's my friend. Sorry, I really forgot he said he wanted to find me before. You just followed saying goodbye to the two? You guys go have fun. We'll meet later at the dorm. Golden replied, all right, see you at the dorm. Queen also added, have fun too. After the two had walked away, you spoke up. Not bad, huh, Peter? These two friends of yours are quite understanding. He changed his expression and turned back to look at Peter. Let's go. We need to change places to talk in a quiet corner of the hallway. The sounds of punches and kicks echoed along with continuous insults. You know you deserve to be beaten in this fight, right? Accompanied by merciless punches and kicks in the crowd fighting, there was you, kicking and cursing. It's all your fault for snitching to the instructor Phi, making us all get punished. It's all your fault. Peter struggled to speak. Whatever, it's up to you guys. This is the last time. I don't want to be involved with you guys anymore. I've made my decision. No matter what happens, I will not betray Watson and Queen again. The group laughed at you, pretending not to hear. What's he saying? At this moment, someone grabbed your hair, forcing you to look straight ahead. He sat down, holding Peter's finger, saying in a very naive tone, I'm talking to you. It seems you still don't understand the situation. Who gave you the right to choose? He then twisted the finger he was holding down. Peter, in pain, opened his eyes wide and couldn't help but scream. He grabbed another one of your fingers and asked, Dear Peter, what do you say now? They don't continue working for us, but you still firmly refused no. I won't. He twisted and counted 1 finger, 2 fingers. This time, just do it, Peter cried and screamed while your gang mocked. Oh, wow. Maybe we have to shut them up. This delicate guy usually talks softly but can scream really well. You stood up laughing mockingly. Oh, wow. So happy that he flew over there, Jerry? Come here and heal his hand. Jerry replied, Coming. He stepped over to treat Peter's fingers. In an instant, the broken fingers were back to normal, as if nothing had happened. You said maliciously, You're awake, huh? Let's do another round until you satisfy me. Then we'll stop. Quinn was at the VR training room, and the cheerful receptionist introduced the two to the VR training booths here. For every 10 points, you can exchange for 1 hour of use. May I ask if you two would like to use it? Upon hearing this, Quinn hesitated, clicking his tongue and saying, Wow, that's expensive. My living expenses only cover 1 hour of play. Golden, standing beside him, cheerfully said, Don't worry, my friend. Just swipe my card. The one thing I don't lack is money. I'm really embarrassed. Gooden generously took out his card and handed it to the receptionist, smiling and saying to Queen, What are friends for? No need to be polite. The receptionist then took the card and completed the registration process, quickly announcing, Registration completed. Please proceed to training rooms 23 and 24. The two were then taken to the training room. Quinn, feeling enlightened, was extremely excited and cheered. So cool! Gooden, walking ahead, saw him so excited and laughed, saying, These training booths can only connect to the military server. We can buy combat rooms to fight with others in the military school if you want a link to the external network. Then I need to spend money to buy a private practice room. Quinn, curious, explored all the machines in the room and shook her head, saying, I'm not asking you about the price anymore. Anyway, I probably won't be able to afford it in this lifetime after you press the button on the game chair. He quickly jumped up to announce that he had accepted the invitation to the VR room, and Kian excitedly stepped onto the game machine, exclaiming how interesting it was. It turns out that people with money use things like this to practice. Quinn fell through glowing data fragments and landed in a newly created virtual game world. As he looked around in confusion, a voice from above rang out. Hi, you made it, Queen! Golden, in a strange outfit, exclaimed, and Queen finally recognized him, panicking and shouting, Golden, is that you? Golden had changed into a different outfit and was wearing a mask. He was standing on a nearby streetlight, waving at him and saying, Of course. Queen complimented him. This gear looks so cool. Then Golden jumped down beside Queen and reminded him that here he could choose his own gear and sounds, just needing to spend a few points to get them. I also bought you a few new outfits. What do you think of these? Golden reached out and snapped his fingers, and a cactus costume appeared on Queen, leaving him a bit speechless. What the hell is this? Queen shouted angrily. Golden couldn't stop laughing and said, Sorry, isn't it adorable? All right, I'll switch you to another one. A cooler hero outfit appeared, and Quinn looked at it for a moment before helplessly saying, You really don't need to spend money on this for me. Golden, busy with his system board, casually replied, Of course it's necessary. When you don't want others to know who you are, you'll need these. You can watch me fight a few times first. Later, you can find someone to battle with yourself. Queen happily replied, Thanks a lot. The system quickly announced that the selected context was loading the arena model. Queen pondered softly, thinking about how the context could allow real combat with real people. If I could practice my skills here later, that would be great. The only problem is money. Above Golden's head, a system message appeared, saying it was pairing with an opponent. Quinn looked at Golden's back, frowning and thinking to himself that as a friend, he couldn't keep spending Golden's money. As night fell behind a bar, a voice moaned, "Don't please!" The mob boss grabbed Peter's hair and mockingly said, "I'll give you one more chance. Think carefully and answer." Peter was gagged and couldn't respond, and then he was warned that, "Just do that well and you won't be punished anymore. You need to learn to be a good dog and obey, got it?" A guy next to him made some vague gestures to another guy, but before Peter could understand what was happening, he was grabbed by the others. The guy holding his hair said, "Looks like we've reached an agreement." "Right, Peter?" he mumbled. "Uh-huh." The guy switched to putting his arm around Peter's shoulders, smiling brightly and continuing, "Look at you living like this. Isn't it good? We also have fewer troubles now." The other guy excitedly chimed in, "This is your reward for following us. We won't skimp on benefits for you. We're all very easy to talk to." A notification appeared beside him saying he had received 100 points, saying that they left Peter sitting there motionless while they turned their backs and chatted. "Well, we'll leave that to you." Peter's younger brother, another guy, chimed in, "Waiting for good news from you." They walked further away, but their gleeful laughter echoed in Peter's ears. He could only sit still, tears streaming down his face, feeling incredibly lonely, not knowing who to talk to. As night fell, Golden and Queen finally returned home together. Golden looked around for a moment and wondered aloud, "Hey, isn't Peter back yet?" Queen shook his head in silence and softly replied, "He seems to be asleep." Hearing that, Golden nodded and said, "He went to bed early, huh?" Queen shrugged and continued, "Maybe we're just too tired. Let's rest early." She walked past the bed where Peter stood for a moment, observing his friend. He frowned, thinking to himself, "Peter should be fine, right?" Peter was lying on the bed at that moment. His face was turned towards the wall, so it was hard to see his attitude and emotions at that moment. In the simulated space of the VR training room, everything was in chaos. Quinn stood below, activating the system to check the information. He murmured thoughtfully, "User ID Blood Evolution Model Brad Yvonne." He switched to another folder, sighed, and said, "I still have to choose an appearance." Quinn excitedly picked another outfit for himself in the training room, a character with striking red hair. He enthusiastically said, "Let's choose a look that's completely different." The system then announced it had set up the character and was loading the corresponding opponent for the arena. It then notified that the game was starting. Queen was currently stretching her muscles. She bit her lip, thinking to herself, "I wonder how much I can unleash my abilities in this training room. Let's give it a try." Soon after, the system announced that the opponent had been selected successfully. A cool, blue-haired warrior stepped out in front of Queen, and she happily thought, "Here we go." The blue-haired character immediately unleashed their abilities towards her and greeted, "Hey there, buddy. Do you mind if I ask?" Observing her senior standing beside her, Quinn frowned in confusion and replied, "Observing is fine too." She thought to herself, "I was just watching the match before." The blue-haired character smiled brightly and replied, "That's great. You just stay over there and watch me fight. I'm starting now." He smirked and counted down, 3, 2, 1. His hand tightened as if activating a skill, his eyes gleaming with confidence. Quinn widened her eyes in tension, preparing to defend against the blue-haired character. "Unsasurar," the system quickly announced. "The match begins." Immediately, Quinn charged forward, her figure spinning in mid-air, green energy swirling around like a blade. She exploded with speed, leaving a red streak behind as he dodged her attack and countered with a slicing blow. She frowned and exclaimed, "Did he just use a skill right at the start? Well, I won't hold back either." She seriously unleashed her skill in response, a stream of bright red blood rushing towards the blue-haired guy. He struggled to use his skill to create a shield. The green energy desperately tried to block the oncoming attack. The silver-haired senior, observing from the sidelines, suddenly frowned, thinking to himself, "What skill is that red attack?" The two forces collided, shaking the ground, dust and energy flying everywhere. Quinn, unfazed, continued her assault, moving forward as the blue-haired guy spun around to evade her strike. The red and green forces clashed violently in midair, the explosion tearing through the arena. As her body was knocked to the ground, dust and energy scattered everywhere. Quinn frowned, reflecting, "I hit him as if I were striking steel." Behind the cloak was armor. Quinn smirked, thinking, no wonder the weapons in reality can synchronize with this place. That's fine. I have my own advantages. She raised her hand to block the attack. Avoiding letting him stab her, she fell into thought. After all, there was no real sun here. The blue-haired guy smiled brightly at her and said, Hey, do you think you can easily block my attack? Is that so? Saying that his weapon emitted energy towards Queen, he smugly declared, I've won. The magic was heading straight for her, but Queen remained unfazed. She silently cast another spell, and suddenly she appeared right behind the blue-haired guy, whispering in his ear, Sorry about this. I'm the one who's winning. Immediately after Queen used her ultimate skill, Blood Strike, thrusting her bare hand straight into the side of the blue-haired guy, catching him off guard. He could only cry out, What? As the blue-haired guy bled and fell to the ground in pain. He could only cry out, How could this be? The silver-haired senior on the platform frowned and muttered, Interesting. The system then announced, The winner is the blood evolution model. The blue-haired guy regained his strength. Flying towards the stands where his senior was, he sighed and said, I'm sorry, senior, it's because I'm useless. The silver-haired man shook his head and replied, Don't be discouraged. His speed is much faster than yours. On Queen's side, a new mission notification appeared. Defeat the opponent. Random mission reward experience. Plus 25, 100% completion. She happily thought, Great, I defeated the opponent. In the training room, she also received the mission reward, and her abilities could still be used as usual. The silver-haired man jumped down to her and gently said, Hey, buddy, can I bother you for a moment? Quinn frowned and replied, What is it, senior? The system displayed a notification. Hasley has issued a challenge. He smiled brightly and replied, That's right. Queen pondered for a moment, thinking, I can tell he's very tough already. Perhaps my attack will be neutralized, but facing an opponent like this is a rare opportunity. This is the meaning of using the training room. Quinn exhaled, stretching challengingly, and said, All right, I accept. She calmly thought, Then let's have a proper match. After that, Jelly stood there preparing for battle, aiming at her senior as the countdown echoed 4, 3, 2, 1. It was also the moment he charged at me. The battle began with a powerful punch straight to the gut of his senior, but he just stood there, eyes wide in amazement, having put all his strength into this blow. Yet he didn't flinch at all. This guy then flipped back, keeping his distance, still astonished inside. Is this guy's ability to harden part of his body? Facing his senior, he stared back at him, exclaiming, Oh my God, we just started the fight, and you're already that far away. Being too cautious, huh? I noticed something moving on his body, slowly slithering out. His senior continued, I guess you're wondering what my ability is. He interrupted as if he could read Queen's mind. This made him jump. Is this the ability to harden the body, freezing it completely? Facing him, he smiled calmly, waving his hand to control his weapon. Let me show you. He tightened his grip on a metal rod. Spikes formed, but his senior denied it. No, that's not it. Immediately after, he charged at Queen with the metal rod striking straight at his face, causing him to flinch instinctively. He raised his hand to block the attack awkwardly. Seeing this, his senior smiled smugly, furrowing his brow as the metal rod in his hand suddenly transformed, leaving him in shock. The weapon morphed quickly, launching an attack that made Queen scream. Inside, he thought he was done for as the weapon transformed into a sharp stick aimed at him. He quickly withdrew his hand to dodge, but his senior struck again, sending him flying backward. He landed on the ground, spinning to reduce the impact. He knelt on one knee, clutching his wound as his opponent slowly approached with a smirk. That red-haired kid, your strength is indeed impressive, but your combat experience is still lacking. He swung the metal rod up and down. His face was full of smugness. Do you want to fight again? On the other side, his senior also looked up and smiled, Of course. That's more like the spirit of training. Saying that, he charged again to attack. His senior stood there still smug, transforming his weapon. Not bad, I really like your eyes. It's even more interesting to compare them with your defeat. He then clasped his hands together. The weapon transformed into sharp cards, blocking the relentless punches from Queen. On this side, he gritted his teeth, continuing to attack him. He managed to block everything, but his speed still wasn't fast enough. His hands were wrapped in metal, swinging back the palms containing sharp spikes. That's enough warming up. Now it's my turn to attack. Just waiting for that moment, Queen narrowed his eyes, mumbling an instant technique. Then he swung his hand, the sharp spikes extending out, but he had vanished, appearing unexpectedly behind his senior, surprising him. A punch landed squarely on his face, causing his body to topple over. Then his body flipped backward several times. Below the arena, Queen stood there watching his senior collapse to the ground while he clutched his wound, panting and looking up. Facing him, his senior sat cross-legged, calm, mumbling, "You scared me there." His face still wore a smile, but part of his body was gradually revealing metal. "Your strength is truly astonishing. You almost crushed my head. Looks like I have to take this fight seriously." For now, let's pause here. Don't forget to support me with a like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you, everyone.